2G, they've had such a turbulent journey to get to the stage today, but this team, they're not holding anything back and they're ready to prove themselves on the stage.
I mean, so many individual stories coming together to try and find success throughout all of Tier 2, and they did just that. They want to replicate the same thing coming into Tier 1. A lot of these players feel like they need to prove themselves because in the past, they weren't able to find success to kind of back up and show that, hey, we are just as insane and talented as the players that we've seen this entire year. And now they're coming together, wanting to really lock in and bring that momentum that they had coming in from LCQ, coming in from their whole Tier 2 run of just finding success and hopefully convert it here on the Tier 1 stage.
Yeah, and 2G coming back to the stage just goes to show how maybe as an org, they've made that environment pretty good for their teams to be able to reach the top. And of course, they have so much in store for us coming into the stage.
Furia is a team that really shines mechanically and has kind of fallen off in the macro sense. I think with the addition of Calm, he brings a strong mid-round voice that kind of pushes those shooters in a good direction. I really want to see stronger team play and cohesion from Furia today because they're absolutely capable of it. I know for me, I really, really believed in them during kickoff. I think I was one of the only people that predicted them to win the entire thing. So I think that was only a glimpse of what this team is due and what they're capable of, and I want to see them lock back into that kickoff mentality.
I think for Furia here, this is their time to shine. If it's any time to do it, it is now. They're facing off an opponent that maybe they've seen a lot from because they obviously, 2G, have to play in that LCQ to make it here. So a couple more games, a couple more things to watch. Now, both these teams really good at working together and making sure that they're on point. But as we go into this, we're going to introduce the maps, which is Ascent, Split, and Sunset. Do you guys have any hard feelings about this or what?
I mean, when I'm just looking at this map, Vito, as a whole, these first two maps, Ascent and Split, I feel like it's very straight up. 2G should be winning that Ascent.
Yeah.
That is by far their best map that they played all throughout Tier 2. I believe they're 3-0 on it just in that last event of LCQ. Even though they've shown it multiple times, they're still able to come out on top, and I think a lot of that goes to show is how good Brinks is at kind of adapting on what the enemy team throws at them. And looking at Split, that's one of their worst maps. I think Furia had that prep going into it, and even though they haven't found that success that they wanted to, hopefully they went back to the drawing board, changed things up in the weak time that they had in order to prepare for this.
I feel like 2G dominated SRB on Ascent in the LCQ. Yeah. So for me, if I'm Furia seeing that, I don't want 2G to get a hot start because I feel like they are really good at carrying that momentum. Ascent is definitely an incredible map for them. So if they start off really, really strong, they make this a very dominant map, I would be very nervous on Furia.
Yeah, I would be really scared. For me, when I'm looking at Furia, I'm looking again, we talked a little bit about this, but a player like Koala Noob to be able to essentially make the map his own, especially on Ascent, using Jet, using that operator. It's so easy to go for those early round picks, whether you're on attack or defense. That is really cute. See, that's the crochet, right?
Yeah, no. the two line.
Hey, it's real. But yeah, so Koala, I think he's the one to kind of look out for me here. And I think it's going to be really important what comps they're picking if they're going to be changing anything up.
I mean, this comp looks it's the exact same comp they've been running the entire time. I think they do an excellent job, Gobera and QCK, at getting that aggression, whether they're on the defense or on attack, always ensuring that they have little trap plays going for them. They're able to take a lot of that main space so that, Furia won't have a whole lot to work with here.
Yeah, QCK's Phoenix has been phenomenal. I feel like his flashes too, they've been so quick. And then on the other side, we have Koala actually on the Neon, so still able to be a playmaker in a sense, Alexis.
I feel like it's really tough for 2G to go against a Vice with their comp. They don't have much tools to bait it out. They're playing a Jet, they don't have a Neon, run, do a little 360 no scope and bait out the wall. So that's gonna be tough. I'm really interested to see if they're gonna be able to work around that Vice util, if they're gonna be able to bait out the Thorns, bait out the wall, get openings. I really wanna see how they make that work.
I think the name of the game for both these teams here is to be confident. But while our teams are locked in, so it is ready. The teams are ready. Let's send it over to our casters. Here's Shift and Ash.
Thanks, Tess. Appreciate it. Yeah, a little bit of a switch up here for Furia. Honestly, it feels like it's kind of time for them to try something a little bit more brand new, not just by roster, but also by composition. Where on the other side, I love that the desk touches on it. Yes, this has been the staple for 2G by far. Doesn't matter who they play, doesn't matter how many times they play it, they're ready to go.
Yeah, they absolutely are. It is going to be an uphill battle here for Furia. We are going to see if these compositional swaps will make the difference.
Well, it's time for the match start, brought to you by Samsung OLED. Furia taking on 2G. We saw some fireworks early yesterday from Bestia, able to take map number 1 versus Crew to kick off our play-in. Does 2G have something similar up their sleeves? We're about to find out. 2G taking on Furia. Let's get it on.
I'm so excited for this matchup. Looking at Qualanoob, especially on the Neon on this defense, more of that opportunity for Furia to play a little bit of that disruption, slow down some of those hits. Nice flash to deny that information on the drone at the very least. But 2G, the rest of the team, they're hovering outside of A, playing contact.
Nice little early shutdown of any presence at B main, so does feel like this hit towards A is going to be pretty quick, pretty hot, pretty heavy, and it absolutely is. On site, though, Artisan is able to at least get a little bit of damage in, not able to find the first blood. Defense rotating quickly through Heaven. Flash will push them off just for a moment as Gobera is waiting for a little bit of assistance, and as they make their way in, 2G will find absolutely everything. Flawless round to kick it off for 2G.
Damn, that was clean coming out from 2G. Kind of what we expected from this squad, but I think now, talking a little bit more through that comp that we are seeing coming out from Furia, it does also give a bit more of that opportunity, I think, for this squad to, in those moments, play for those mechanics, like the desk was talking about, right? Something that is never missing for this squad. And again, I think that we also know Calm on the Sova, on Ascent. He's always cooking. He's always got some crazy positions that he can get himself into. So the calling from him to enable these mechanical players is going to be so key to make this work.
And I think there's also something just in that pistol. If 2G decide to play with that level of tempo and aggression, it's going to put more pressure on Calm to try to make quick calls, quick adaptations, and quick adjustments. Little slide out here. Qualanoob looking for some sort of a trap play with these classics, but a lot of it dealt with 4v3 early after all is said and done through B main.
Hot hands just to clear out Wine here, but for Artzian, he's going to have to look to evacuate, not want to give anything away here. Furia. You also have still Brinks on the other side of the map looking for that lurk in case something does go awry. Or
honestly, could just play behind the play and just see if you can deny Furia from just sitting and dying to the spike. Could be an opportunity as Brinks makes his move. There's a defensive smoke up top towards Heaven, so maybe a chance to get a peek inside of the site if you are Furia, but largely speaking, this will be a contest round. 2G looking pretty comfortable through 2, and they're going to get a really true and honest bonus here. 2 rifles are going to carry their way in. Now, the only action to really call is to see if Brinks will make good on this long route over through the middle of the map, but instead, Calm will find him. Take the stinger away, but there will be no more exit eliminations, and 2G will casually go up 2-0.
okay, now that we've got weapons in play here for the side of Furia, it's that question of how they're going to measure for some of those trap plays, the aggression from the defense. If they're looking to try and push 2G into that Vice setup from Shy on the B side of the map. I'm looking forward to seeing how they've been cooking in scrims, you know, what kind of layers we're going to see with the utility, what kind of plans here that Furia have.
Yeah, just a kind of another point here for Furia, kind of looking inside the numbers just a little bit. They have been pretty poor when they're playing from an eco advantage, only winning 65% of their rounds through stage 2, which is well underneath the average of about 72% through VCT Americas. So that is something that no matter what comp we're playing, no matter who's calling, we just need to be better when we've got an advantage. The 2G's looking to put the pressure on early, able to find first blood onto Shy. And there is no other defense here. Calm has to sit and wait for help, and this is going to be a very quick post plant again for 2G, and Calm gives away his life. That's such a scam. Now you don't have any information gathering tools to even really give this retake a go.
Gobera looking so confident already as well, looking for those picks, those opportunities to just pick apart that potential retake there for Furia. And in this situation now, okay, I was going to say they might even look to save, but getting that pick on Gobera definitely changed things. You see them racing over to market for the retake.
Yeah, you have to give this a try. You cannot just give away the third round for free. It's just such an uphill battle to climb. And honestly, with that reveal, now you are going to have to back away and save. That is just not what you want in the first 3 rounds for Furia. So 2G, through their bonus, is going to be feeling super zesty about how things are going. And honestly, if you're Furia, you need to find something here just to get your game book going, because at the moment, 2G is doing whatever they want.
Yeah, I mean, like, you take a look at where those deaths are on that B side of the map, and not anywhere that Furia were going to be able to trade each other out, find that success, looking to anchor on site. Shy completely on his own, and Calm not quite being able to support there from Market.
Yeah, it just feels over-aggressive for Calm to peek through Market right there. Like, you're the only person who could get the information to even attempt a retake. You still have great agents available to break down that B post plant, but once Calm drops, there's not a chance. So, possible mistake right there. 2G taking advantage early, and they're already well and truly comfortable in the banks. Their economy is going to be well established, and now you've got Fury on a scattered by.
I will give Calm the fact that I don't think he was actually going for a peek, but just trying to make sure nobody crossed over into CT. Regardless, though, heading into this round, Furia getting a bit more proactive, finding success here in A main. The first time we're really seeing the picks go their way.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, we've seen Furia try to do something like that through B main, but to get the early aggression off the one-way smoke at A will at least give us some battling fire with fire mentality. So now the first issue in this map going to be posed over to 2G, how they want to try to handle a very early 3v5.
I like this insert, very least here for Shenum, but Fury aren't going to give anything away thus far, especially with this contact play crossfire that you have going on. Could be a timing, not going to be quite there.
Hot Hands will delay any play through tree. And 2G are going to need to make a decision here with 45 on the clock what they want to do. Door will shut on the rotation into A, and there's going to be a little feel out over towards mid. It's the best avenue for approach if you're 2G. They're going to have weapons to try to take the 3v2 onto the B site. No defense rotating early.
Nice camera to clear out for a lane as well, but you have two players on Furia bunkered on site, Calm and Shy. Still a dart available if they do get smoked out in back boathouse.
This contact could determine the round right here. Oh, and Kowal's going to get tagged up through the wall. There goes the paranoia. Smoke to follow. The Vice Flash will at least allow an opportunity for this post plant to stay a little bit more contested. Shy waiting for a chance to try to peek. Calm will drop. Shy following up with a fine one. Then that will be enough for Fury to eventually come back into the site and get on the board.
Nice retake there for Furia. Having the advantage in the early round, definitely making a world of a difference. The aggression works out over towards A main that time around. Now, it's all about looking to replicate it. Furia, a much needed round win for them. Calm has that Odin online going into the next as well.
Yeah, that's big. That's the other thing we always talk about when it comes to Ascent. If the defense can start to get those bigger weapons, the Odin, the Operator, that changes everything in terms of what you can call in your playbook, because it's just the simple choke points become so much more difficult to work through. So Calm on the stapled Odin. You know it. Maybe you love it. Quick flash and dash up around in the back, but Zenom will find the first blood. Fury able to take away the first two. Another good set play with aggression towards A will work out nicely for an early 5v3.
These first bloods, something we're going to have to keep our eyes on for here for Furia. Being able to find those openers, just completely slowing things down, not really giving that opportunity to 2G to have those bursty executions that they like to have with the duelists. But Brinks has always been so good in these kind of lurk positions.
Yeah, the problem here is that, I was going to say the timing may come completely awry, and Brinks will drop trying to lurk through mid after the noise was created at A main.
Okay, but not checking that is crazy.
No, well, you gotta. It's one of those situations like you gotta have to force something. It just kind of goes awry. But go Barrett, tempted to be isolated and trapped. And honestly, 2G after that 5v3 early, this round was just never in a position to come back and be winnable, especially once you lose Brinks mid map.
One enemy remaining.
Yeah, that just about puts the nail in the bed. Let's see if QCK is going to be able to do anything. Not quite getting the timing there on Calm. Let me take that back. Let's see if he can get anything else.
Curveball comes through. Koala is going to create some noise by high gearing his way forward. There's the last flash. Nice snap from QCK. But Basic will find the elimination. The Odin will be saved. Should be saved. It will be saved. And we'll get a one-round game here. Fury right back in it.
Okay, what do we have to work with? You've got Run It Back online here for QCK into this next round. For the side of Furia, not quite cycled up into any ultimates quite yet. But now it's about, okay, 2G are the ones who need to make the adaptation. For Furia, these early aggressive plays off barrier drop have been working out really nicely for them to get the first bloods.
2G says bet. We're just going to stack the box. See if we can catch him. There's the one way, nothing behind it though. And we're going to get blades very early. There's the recon, there's the dash. Firewall will go up, trying to block some vision. Furia just trying to play on the backside of the site. The vines will stop QCK a little bit on the way in. Good dissection of the site offensively to get on towards the back part of A, but largely speaking, Fury are fine with this. Just comes down to, can they actually get their defense in position to stop this spike plant? Because FRZ is on the way. There's the paranoia. Basic able to find you first blood. Dropping on in. Oh, on the last knife, able to find Koala Noob. Now the follow-up. Shy able to find one more in response. Numbers will build for Furia's defense. Run it back for Basic, able to allow him one on the re-entry through, and 2G will be bounced out of sight.
One enemy remaining.
Brinks, spike in hand, still in a 1v4 scenario, completely surrounded by all sides. It was tough there, 2G. Sure, they get that site, but I would have loved to see them maybe fight for that tree control. It was so fast that Furia were able to get that rotation over to A to call the execution and swarm around them. At that point, it was shooting fish in a barrel.
Yeah, and also simple call knowing that the run it back is up for the offense. If you're Furia, just stay a little bit further off site. Don't allow the run it back to get too far deep in towards your defensive setup. And then you've got to run it back of your own to counter. So beautiful design right there from Furia using the ultimates. Clean casual, the game of chess continues. And now we're really going to figure out what 2G is going to do, because the first 3 rounds, great. They win it in the first 30 seconds because of the raw aggression that they're throwing into Furia's defense. Maybe they weren't prepared for it. Maybe they were just winning their opening gunfights. You know, potato, you pick. But on the flip side, now that Furia has been able to showcase 2 rounds of countering the aggression with aggression of their own, and also showing good manipulation of ultimates, there's something here for 2G to have to talk about. Do you want to try to continue to fight in the first 30 seconds for that A main or B main control, or are we going to try to hold back, save some of our utility, and burst later in the round? Tough decision. 2G need to figure it out.
Yeah, it definitely is. We'll see what direction they end up going in after this time out. I think the other thing I want to touch on, though, is how good Basic looks right now. 7-2 to start things off, switching over to the Phoenix compared to the KO that he was playing previously, and having that opportunity to just enable this player to be that mechanical god that we know he can be. I think Koala has always sung his praises for him, how great of not just a support player he is, but just how insane he is when it comes down to being able to win out these rounds, and being on a self-sufficient Phoenix where he's not focused on supporting the team could make all the difference.
And talk about his fluency. I mean, he's got the China buffet of agents played so far this stage. He's done it in every single role as well. So to see him at 7-2, already getting it done on the Phoenix, is great news for Furia fans. 3-3. Economy broken right now for 2G. Still have some weapons to play with though, so don't rule them out. Especially if there is some sort of a burst play to come through. Fury going to hold a crossfire inside the dark cover, and both players holding will find individual eliminations. Another early 5v3 for the defense.
Really nicely done there. Sharded step out there for 2G, and for Brinks still just waiting around the corner of B main, knowing that that Vice utility is always going to be present.
Shannon in some trouble. Able to get some damage in Artisan. Believe he does know Koala Noob is here. That's a good blood.
Still has a paranoia.
Owl drone to clear. Hot Hands trying to delay, but Zenima's already through. But Brinks isn't. Oh no, not great news. Zenima's able to do what he can on top of the site. Spike will make its way on. Still doable, but going to be hard pressed to work through the health pools and of course the weaponry that is still available for Furia. Nice reveal. Zenima is still alive somehow, some way. And they're going to call in the Steel Garden here just to try to make sure that there is no stress on this defensive round. Feels a little aggressive, but it works out regardless. So spend it, use it. Works out nicely. Furia still in the lead.
You guys can hear the shouting in the back as well. I love hearing from the side of Furia that energy on stage, considering the season that they've had so far during stage 2. Just being able to get that going early on is huge for them. That is for certain.
Yeah, it's really been a stage of heartbreaks, hasn't it? I mean, even on their own map picks, you would need both hands and maybe both feet to count how many times we've lost overtimes if you're Fury at this stage. It's been a bit heartbreaking, and it's caused, I mean, identity crisis in terms of the roster, the agents they want to try to play. They've had a tough time getting things going, but if there is ever a match that you want to be able to establish your dominance, why not do it against 2G right here, right now? But this is a little sloppy from Fury. Doesn't clear out your angles, but Basic is able to salvage the opening and turn this into an early 3v3. Pressure over towards the A site from the shadows from Genum is going to be committed to. And all of a sudden, the defense has to kind of panic and try to play retake on it.
Yeah, and there's a confirmation the plant's actually going to be going down here with the Owl drone, spotting the other 2 remaining players. Calm, though, still has the Hunter's Fury on that tap available.
Well, Genum spaced from this ultimate will allow the plant to still come through. Dark cover trying to block off the play towards Heaven. QCK still holding onto a curveball. It hits, and how about Genum? Able to take 2 more from on top of the site, and we're tied at 4.
Really nicely done there by 2G, forcing that refight, understanding that Furia were going to want to flood in when they had a player disadvantage, with one looking to get that plant down. Now, I think that we're seeing kind of those mind games coming into play, right? The reads here for this squad with how far back we saw 2G playing outside of B, very prepared for the aggression that was incoming.
And that's one of those things that we talk about the adjustments. It starts off with 2G playing with aggression once the barriers drop. Furia says bet. And now all of a sudden 2G kind of have them in a bit of a counter trap saying, all right, you want to keep playing aggressive, we'll be there to match it. Operator Odin is available though for Furia here in round 9. Hunter's Fury for 2G is ready to go. See what designs 2G have with our first really kind of slow approach for both teams.
Yeah, just I think still waiting to see where Furia want to bite for any sense of defensive-sided aggression, but Furia not going to take that play this time around. So it's those constant pauses. You see how Furia have now conditioned 2G in those previous rounds to just wait a beat. Hot hands timing here for basic is going to be key.
Here's the Hunter's Fury going to be called out for the defense, counteracted by 2Gs, but one tag comes through, another follow-up is there. FRZ is able to connect to the one defender on top of the site, but Koala Noob connects onto QCK through glass, and Basic holds his position through tree. Unbelievable presence there from Furia. 5v2, and if you're 2G, good try, go next.
Yeah, I mean, perfect timing on that Hunter's Fury. The information that Calm was able to glean there as well. And a save situation here for 2G. Now, I think what is going to be so fun about this series and just seeing this 2G roster on this big stage is something that the desk was talking about, right? You have these 4 players who have been here before. Within Shenum, within Gobera, FRZ, and QCK as well. But then when it comes down to their leader being Brinks, he's been competing for such a long time within Valorant, but has never made it to Tier 1 until this point. And to have led his team here is just insane, I feel like, as a rookie. While not just that, it's the fact that he is one of the most aggressive Omen players you're ever going to see, too. Like, he's fragging, he's calling, and he's doing it all. And it's just amazing how talented of a roster 2G have been able to field.
It's been quite a journey since they ascended. Obviously back and forth between VCT and then back again, trying to get to this main stage. The 2G find themselves a bit down. We'll see how they calm their way through round 10.
Nada. Sova B. Mano, vou dar um straight top aqui.
Vou dronar aqui, mano. Cuidado do AP quadra lá.
Relaxa, não tem nada. Cuidado varanda agora.
No renovou, não é?
Parede,
Drone varanda.
Cuidado, Fogão vai te tagar, tá?
Tem parede, vou beitar a parede.
Vou aqui, vai e Sova B.
Não, Sova drone no varanda, não?
Sim, só drone no varanda.
Já rodou. Pode ser Vaz e a Neon aqui. Quebra meio, mas eu vou bagar.
Baga.
Consegue side splitar esse mercado? Consegue. Tá, vai.
Quis pegar essa arma, meu Globo.
Tem smoke 3?
Não, smoke vocês.
Não tem.
Smoke base.
Sova aí, Fênix, bora.
Vem.
Um de vida, Fênix. Boa. Só tá B, vai, B.
Mercado, passa pulando.
Vai.
Ok, base.
Voltou pra mim. Voltou pra você.
Mirando você, Fênix.
Um de vida.
Embaixo, Quick.
Acho onde?
Spike down B.
Embaixo aqui?
É, tá embaixo da escada aí.
Outro aqui, aqui, ó.
I have the spike.
Pode deixar a base hard? Vou deixar a parede.
What a play from Shy. 2G set up that hit through mid perfectly. Everything was going right. You get the read. I don't speak great Portuguese, but it sounded like they called out where everybody was, what was being spent, how are we going to break down this play at mid? And all it takes is a small flash through the middle, a little bit of Odin play, and then Shy dancing with the devil for a mini 1v3 on market steps. Unreal stuff from Shy.
Massive heroics here for Furia. Again, to reiterate, the firepower of the squad was never in question. It was always coming down to, some of those bigger ideas from this team, and I think this composition really enabling the double duelist so that Koala is not alone in those fights makes all the difference.
Absolutely the case. Nice little snap there by Gobert. Koala lucky to be alive, catching a bullet to the dome. But is still alive to tell the tale. 2G looking to get a little bit deeper through mid here. This is going to cause some questions for Furia of how exactly can you deal with it. Now, the good news is they still have an Arc Rose deep on B, so they don't necessarily have to stay on the B site. But you need to try to re-clear out mid if you possibly can. And it looks like Furia are going to back up, join forces, and see if they can clear it with 50 on the clock.
Wall still up over at A main, but this entry through tree, especially with Shannon already prepared with the paranoia, perfect to push Calm off the angle.
Well, the run it back will be spent here by QCK to get the space. How much can be generated, especially with Gobert following behind this? That is a ton of vacancy on the backside of A, but do you expect 3 players walking back over towards
This is a crazy
You may
insert.
not. Gobert is able to find the first. Now it's just down to can you get the isolation to trade if you're Furia. Gobert dancing, able to get out of there. Huge. Not a lot of tools available in terms of Furia being able to retake here. They've got a recon bolt, and that's just about it.
Relay bolt as well for Koala if it can find a purchase, but it really gets difficult.
The Arc Rose will be replaced back over towards tree. Calm holding onto the recon bolt. And here we go. Hot hands over the top actually will flush FRZ out from behind the spike site. Diving on in is basic. Koala will fall simultaneously in 2G's post plant. Looks pretty stable. Calm, just the Odin left. Not going to be able to do too much with this. And we're going to get a 6-5 tally going into the last round of the half. Brilliant bounce back for 2G.
Such a back and forth map of Ascent thus far between these two teams. So hungry to make their way through the play-ins, get into playoffs. It all starts with this first match.
I think that's massive right there for 2G. I was about to call after that round where Shy pops off. That could be a spark that Furia just run away with this map with. When you see your teammate in an impossible situation pull off a 1 versus 3, you're starting to think like you guys are invincible. So for 2G to bring them back down to earth that quickly is huge.
I think the other thing with Ascent as well, for 2G, it almost feels like they need to win this map with the record that they've had.
I agree, yeah.
Just for ego's sake alone, like not even for the series, right?
Absolutely. So far, it's been just as back and forth, though, as you can imagine. Spike will be left on the backside of any play towards B main. Furia once again able to bring the Op and Odin into play here last round of the half. There will be no ultimates, though, for the defense to work with, whereas we've got Knives and maybe a Nurdle Theft for Brinks if he can earn something.
Drawn out to get the information. They know that Brinks is lurking on the other side, and that pick with the Op changes everything here for 2G. They don't have that insert to B to look to rotate anymore, looking to commit to this pinch on A.
That is an unreal shot. I don't know if we can replay that or not, but that's unbelievable. Paranoia is going to be traded here as we get the entry towards A. Shy able to hold the front door. There's still the Vice Wall in the way as well, so now it's just down to Shy isolating over towards Tree to find a second. 3 versus 2, big shots from Zenom, but cannot finish off Calm. QCK. Last one left for what had to be a 1 versus 3. Not going to be able to navigate onto the site, and it'll be a 7-5 half in favor of Furia.
Really nicely done here for Furia. This is a half we didn't really get to see from them last time around with them starting on attack, but now having those rounds banked here gives them a little bit more of that room, and we're looking at them being a lot more comfortable, I feel like, with this new composition.
That's all it needs to be right now for Furia. Find some comfortability. We heard it yesterday. Hey, you're a tier 1 team. You should be handling business versus these challengers teams on the main stage. And for now, Furia able to just narrowly have an edge through the first half. We'll swap the sides. Come back with half 2.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up here. It all started when I got to the FIFA World Cup, and wow, thousands of Verizon customers.
Oh, you got the free Verizon tickets too? No, I'm...
With amazing seats.
I'm sorry. Okay.
And even pitch side access.
Are you? David Beckham, a Verizon customer.
This used to be for players. Now it's for Verizon customers. No one gets you closer. Only on Verizon.
Okay, so Briggs, I want to know, because we have a lot of players that have a lot of different things that they do before a match. What is your pre-match ritual? Do you have anything that you do to kind of get you ready for the next match?
Normalmente eu costumo acordar pouco mais cedo, tomo café da manhã pouco mais leve e chego aqui, converso com o Gabi X, o plano de jogo, e costumo me aquecer pouco.
I wake up and have a little a cup early on the game days. I have a light breakfast, so we come here and we talk about the game with the coach.
Oh, wow, that's just such a straight up, simple, easy way to do it. Me personally, I would eat all the pan de quejos, and then we'll just be all up in here, and then that's my pre-match ritual. Anyway, back to you. Pan de queijo. So sorry. Pan de queijo.
Yes.
Oh, how do I say it?
Pan de queijo.
There you go. See, they're so much smarter than me.
I've never seen GB look so small on camera before. Those are some big men around what is a very normal-sized human being.
Hey, we got some tall players. We got some tall translators.
And I've seen GB on AEW. He didn't even look that small. Good grief. Let's get into the second half. Furia up 2. Big pistol coming through right now. Especially, I think, if you are 2G, just trying to get things back online, because the start of the first half was exquisite. Tempo was the name of the game. Immediately counteracted, though, by Furia. And even though there's a little bit of a back and forth in there, Furia really started to dominate the narrative of how that half was played, and they're not going to slow down here. Immediately through the fast lane, flashes all throughout, but Gobera backside of the side able to connect for the first blood. Couple of tags starting to come through the boxes. Gobera just barely able to stay alive. And Venom will put some pressure over towards Tree while Furia commit to getting on the site.
Yeah, great tailwind to be able to get out at the very least there for Gobera. Hot hands out onto Calm, and the blind on top of that. The flood is coming in quick.
Yeah, stopping Artisan from getting back over towards main is critical. Koala's got nowhere to go. Shy, well, you already know. Dark cover will fade, and there's the three-man swing. He'll deal with 2 of the 3, but if he gets the third one, yeesh. Not going to happen. 2G,
okay, but even getting the 2.
That's fair. That's fair.
2.
That's fair.
Yeah, 3 players looking at you. One was, a little bit out of view for a second there, but regardless, nicely done at the very least here. And I think that I'm curious to see how these attacking rounds are going to continue to layer themselves. On pistol, they can go for that very fast flood, knowing that on that A site, they're likely not going to have any of that stall power.
Yeah. There's also something to be told, like when you're playing with Device on offense, you also want to try to just get on site as best as possible so your Device can get set up for a post plan. So a lot of things to consider, but after the opening pistol falls, Fury will be just on Classics, and they will take their time this time around.
Little bait tap onto the orb there just to get some sprays, me a bit of information out for Furia. Drone doesn't spot anything in mid. Right now, Furia are still just playing very far back, expecting 2G to maybe go exploring. Hoping that they'll make a bit of a mistake here on defense. Not going to budge, though.
Yeah, this is also min-maxing your Phoenix right here, trying to get both orbs if you can. Just kind of a resource collection round right now for Furia. There will be an opportunity for 2G to choose to contest this if they want to. Gobera, just a couple of extra shots, but yep, there we go. Basic will farm both orbs. And now it's just down to, can you collect any more by way of just burst hitting something quickly and seeing if you can overpower the defensive setup.
I was kind of surprised that they were comfortable with just giving those orbs up in that regard, but drone now out here on the B site, and with 30 seconds on the clock, it's going to be the execution.
Nice little slide out, Koala, able to find one. Those are good trades. Those are incredible trades. Oh, mercy. That's going to be a couple of weapons collected here on the B site with a post plant. And you have a lurk from Shy.
It's timing.
You can hear the footsteps. QCK head in a swivel. Oh my goodness. Not able to hit the shots. Now all of a sudden, which is just supposed to be a resource round, turns into a huge thrifty chance for Furia. Shanghai by themselves. There are low health pools, but he's going to give it up.
Yeah, he has to. It's kind of crazy. I think my concern with this round from 2G was they gave a lot of respect to those eco weapons in the early round, allowed the orb collection to come out. But it's not just that. It's what worked on defense for 2G in their prior games was a lot of that defender-sided aggression. Like, I felt like we saw all the damn time that there would be players, it would be Brinks or Gobera, Shanghai as well, like just pushing out. They'd somehow already be in spawn, exploring one side of the map, getting all of that information that was missing here in their anti-eco.
I mean, talk about getting away with one here, though. If you're Furia, great discipline on how you choose the timings for your peaks. Really, really well done. So now all of a sudden, everything changes once again. After what looked to be 2G right about to tie this game back in, now you're stuck onto what was just the single Guardian that was saved. You're going to have economy boost like crazy for Furia, including the fact that Basic, give him one more orb, will likely be able to have them run it back by round 16. So great stuff here from Furia to recontrol how this map is being played.
Shadows traveling.
2G looking to gamble that stack on the B side of the map. It's only Shanghai with the Guardian that was saved from the prior round. Or sorry, invested. Just anchoring that A site, and it's going to get dicey with the positioning that he's in right now. This timing is insane. Has a shrouded step to get out, a smoke as well to try and get into, but it's getting awkward.
Yeah, this is just an island play right now that Shanghai just has to do whatever he possibly can from this position. The defense is hard gambling on something towards B. There's the flash, there's the paranoia. Able to step up and still take care of the first one cleanly. Counter paranoia may lead to an opportunity to get some extra space, but not the case. Rifle picked up, thank you very much, says Artisan. And now it's just down to seeing if 2G can bully their way back on towards site. 3 players up top at heaven. Here comes the curveball play. And really good. Cage coming through, doesn't really deny too much from Furia. They will deal with that entire play, and FRZ will do nothing through tree. 3 rounds to the good now, Furia up.
Furia looking really comfortable into those post plans. Granted, again, for 2G, that was that eco round, right? They didn't really have too much to work with. While that Shanghai was still able to get one. A really nice attempt to try and shrouded step away there as well, to try and live a little bit longer. Now that the weapons are coming back into play here, though, for 2G, I do wonder if we are going to see that aggression that we saw previously. And it's not unmeasured. It's always off the information of the other side of the map, and they go look to explore, and that's where a lot of their calling has come to fruition. Just that general information seeking.
The other key to that now, too, is the operator is out, so you don't have to worry about stacking. You can trust that Gobera can essentially isolate an angle on their own. So you did get an early feel out through A-main. Now it's a little bit of a delayed play as both Aldrones will pass each other here at B. Decent information, and that's enough for Furia, apparently. They're going to hit the run it back. Cage will slow things down, and uh-oh, that's a really good reveal off of the trap. Furia still able to come away with a couple eliminations, though the defenders on the backside of the site not able to stay in position, and that's now Furia with free roam of B. QCK, Shanghai trying to work their way back in. 2v3. Basic still playing over towards main. And you really can't afford to try to isolate here. You have to put the pressure on the site first and foremost. It's a nice throw early one, but the run it back that's earned is immediately countered, and Basic can just keep pre-firing the angle to shut down the round.
Shanghai forced to save now here. Man, that is actually crazy how much value Basic's run it back ended up getting on that entry. That was the difference maker in between. I know Koala Noob does end up going down there, but Basic even triggering that trip so that entry could come in for Koala in the first place. The fact that he even survives and takes out Brinks at the end of that before it expires, just honestly crazy, the shots that we've seen come out from Basic so far today.
Yeah, it is also surprising just on top of that 2G fall 2 defenders on the B site, even though most of that play was coming through the sidewalk. I mean, you can see it kind of right in here. It looked like the defense was going to hold strong. But all of a sudden, because Basic survives in that initial run it back, he's able to open up the site beautifully. And yeah, that's a facepalm moment right there. You get the run it back, you immediately hit it, but a hot hands is on your feet, you fall to that, and then an easy spam right afterwards. 20-7 for Basic. Put a leash on him. He is running away, and Fury is up to double digits, up 4.
We said how much scarier he was going to look, enabled for himself on the Phoenix instead of that KO.
Oh, here we go. Here's some of that aggression. 2G going to step forward, and I mean forward in towards mid. Now, Fury haven't committed to anything, and yeah, they've got protocols to re-clear this, so dark cover, Aldrone will make sure that mid is open, somewhat at least.
Recon not going to get anything other than the information of presence.
Can they set up a little bit of a bait and switch here to take care of the player in the corner? Yes, they can, right in front of the vice wall. Koala will drop early numbers, but the economy still has 2G pretty broken in this purchase. Neural Theft will be called early just to see if they can try to early stack a site defensively. Hot hands, dark cover. Another ping comes through. Artisan is a bit stuck on site, waiting for some help. Good trigger discipline from QCK. Does he find more? Yes, he does. Big double, and 2G have the numbers in a big way.
What an insane position there for QCK. Just ships in the night within the smoke. And a perfect pinch that Artisan had no idea about on that site. With Spike down, it's an impossible round here now for Furia. A huge round for 2G to be able to pick up. They really only mainly invested into the operator going into this round, and it was a big risk, all things considered. Really nice protocoling. I think it was a great shout there on that B main pick with what you were talking about, just the little bait and switch.
Yep.
Those little things making the biggest of differences.
So a thrifty round comes through for 2G in a perfect moment. Like we said, we had to have that one. Resets you up not only in the eco, but also keeps you in this game on the scoreboard as we're getting late into this one. But being able to find that isolation before the vice wall picks up, absolutely crucial. And then, yeah, QCK, great trigger discipline, able to dance around the dark cover, knowing that Artisan is right in front of him. And Furia have one slip through their fingers there off of the setup. Weapons are still fine for the attackers of Furia, but this is a key round right here. You could possibly start to do some serious damage to the economy if you're 2G, especially knowing that Furia is very close to earning some ultimates of their own. We're going to get some early contact. And how about it, Zenom? QCK, aggression through A main, coming away with everything. Finding the first 3 plus a lot of damage onto Artisan, and this round was over before it began.
Really beautiful combo there with the trap play here. Perfectly read out by 2G. A great call out from Brinks with that Cypher utility. Just keeping everything locked down on the other side of the map on top of Gobera, already being pushed out, having that cross there in spawn.
One enemy remaining.
And Gobera able to find one more. Shy now the last one left. And there will still be some money for a purchase here in the next round for Furia.
My ultimate's ready.
Most importantly, though, are the ultimates that are going to be coming up.
Hold on.
No, we're not. We're good. there's no way Shy wins this round.
There's 40 seconds on the clock. Okay. If he went back towards A main instead, I was getting a little nervous there. I can't lie. But Gobert is going to put that one to bed here. 2G, they get up to 8. Furia, they've had layers to their approaches, right? And I feel like we're seeing those moments with the 5-stack outside of A main. It's just not something that you can really do up against this 2G team with how aggressively they are going to fight. And even if they aren't necessarily propped and ready for one of those really fast rounds off the get-go with a read, their reactions with utility are always so good in those moments regardless.
Yep. I mean, they've seen just about everything on this map. They've played it a ton, so now Furia, you saw the moment of hesitation right there. What are we going to call the timeout? Yep, okay, we will. And this is a good time for it. I mean, you're dealing with what is going to be a last purchase. If you lose this round, you'll be back onto a save. You have the Steel Garden ready to go. You're close to an overdrive. You have the Hunter's Fury. These are huge tools for Fury. It just comes down to How much are we going to spend to execute, which is becoming an issue after the last couple of rounds have happened, versus how much do we try to bank on saving to establish some post-plant control, which they've been good with. I mean, their post-plant has been pretty solid. On the other front, yeah, Gobera hits one shot. He's got knives. Instant ability to try to get some extra force on any potential retake. So there are conversations for 2G. How much space do we want to give up versus how much space do we want to take away? And I'm glad that you're highlighting this because it looks like we're going to get some early action with the operator towards B main.
And swapping, right? You have Brinks now set up on the A side of the map, changing things up after that timeout from Furia.
And curveball over the top. Wow, Koala tried to punish. Bold, to put it plainly, did not have a lot of support to make that play happen, just kind of made his own call. And that's now Koala off the table, and that changes the dynamic of what Furia can even game plan at this point, because that's supposed to be your fast lane entryman, and now that you kind of lose out of the play through mid, this is what's happening after the timeout. Oof, don't love this.
Granted, I think 2G Brinks made a really great call to make that shift over Artscene, looking away despite having that back exposed. Still going to be a crunch over to the A site. Tree will be available for taking, but the trap here with the paranoia.
There they are.
Yeah, this is 2G just setting up their defense on site. You can see it with the traps that are currently placed, plus also the spy cam location. Paranoia cuts across the cage. Zenom will find one, Gobera another. And this was not it if you're Furia. Never a chance to get things going. And like, I don't want to just point the finger, but Koala Noob thinking he had the opportunity to go try to punish a 1v2 is bold and honestly ill-advised.
I think maybe expecting anybody to be someone on a slightly deeper line. They hadn't started at a fast B for quite a while now. But really, it just came down to Brinks outcalling into that time. I don't know if it was necessarily Brinks' idea or Gabsh who made the call during that timeout that Shaw's picked out there for Furia, but the adjustment to have the anchor now on A and the aggression over here at B, catching off guard.
We're going to go aggressive here. We've got the overdrive, so Furia going to try to force this round, and the early aggression is going to work out. Gobera on the back, and the cannot get the read at Artisan. And talk about just doing it the old-fashioned way. Force buy into the overdrive is going to work out for Furia into a 5v2. Now, FRZ, if you can find some timing, could very well spoil how this round is developing, and that's first one onto the spike carrier is huge. Can you survive through the double swing, though? No. And Brinks will say, yep, I'll take the op, try to stay alive, give Furia 11.
Nice shift in tempo to go and look to run it back, knowing that they're ready now for any trap play that might be waiting there over in B main, a lot more prepared, providing that supportive utility on the entry for Koala this time around. And into the next rounds here, we have a couple ultimates that have cycled up for both squads. For Furia, huge ults into the post plant there for Shy and Calm with the Hunter's Fury, as well as Steel Garden. Steel Garden can be used on the XQ as well, but honestly, I always feel it has more of that impact in the post plant just to buy that time from the fast flood to come in.
Yeah, that's an interesting round right there. I mean, it happens so quickly that you're going to need to see a lot of it in the replays. But 2G, I don't say that they were unprepared for what was a force by overdrive setup. It looked like they were trying to bully it before Fury could hit the execute call, and they just weren't able to find the opening contact that they wanted. And you can see it obviously by where the defenders have fallen. It's all through B main, so they were anticipating it, but not quite able to find the kills they need to shut down the play before it could get off the ground. And I'm sure we'll see a lot of that right here, because you have the hot hands, you've got flashes, like you're trying to get into position to stop this play. It's just Furia disrespecting the hot hands and just forcing the play to happen.
Not even just that, though, but also the paranoia that was thrown in support. I don't know if that was there the first time around, like 2 rounds ago. So just additional layers to ensure that is going to pan out there.
Now here we go, early utility dump at B main. It's going to lead to the commitment. Gobera in some trouble, but is able to stay alive and get on towards the B site. Artisan's going to commit. No, not to the From the Shadows. Hunter's Fury called in to support this play as Basic finds first blood. Gobera, what do you have for us in the backside of the site? The defense is rotating as fast as they possibly can. Brinks misses a huge one on the rotation. Shoulder scene. Gobera, you have to hit. Is able to find the first. And honestly, Fury is a bit stuck here at B main. They need to find a way to get through Boathouse. And at the moment, 2G have a good crossfire, and now Brinks is back into the play.
Art stuck with a spike here in logs. They have to be able to support him in this. Shrouded Step available, though, to get out.
QCK sees everything, but doesn't have the support with the secondary peek. Brinks able to trade things back. 2 versus 2. 40 seconds. Chance for Fury to create a little bit of doubt, but Brinks tracing his steps back over towards mid is huge. He will know that there is no exit back through mid, and Gobera can keep his head up.
And this is what 2G have been so good at on defense, is retaking this space.
This timing is everything, and now all of a sudden, the round tilts to 2G. Koala has to go quickly. Able to grab the spike. Takes the battle on towards sight. Slides through, but Gobera hits the shot, and 2G are back to within 1.
Really nicely done there by 2G. Got to give credit, though, to Furia. It was bold for Art, even with the Shrouded Steps available to stay in logs, stay inserted and take that risk there. And they try to go in for the re-clear. It does start to look good. But Brinks was really the one who put the nail in the coffin with that flank that you called out.
It happened so quickly.
And those are the reactions that I've been wanting to see from them on defense. Ever since they've gone for that proactivity, we've seen 2G now start to chain these rounds together.
Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. 11-10 the count. Bit of a staggered buy situation for Furia. A couple of light armors, Guardian, Bulldog. Just about everything you could possibly want if you're 2G. Wall will be procced. The defense will continue to just keep themselves set up aggressively at B. No reason not to.
Such a valuable line for Gobera to be able to hold on to there.
Go, go, go. Gotta go.
Trap trips available over at A, and with how deeply it's placed in tree as well, Furia have no idea about its positioning quite yet. Both extremities completely locked down here by 2G, who are more than happy to give up mid. They have the camera for the information if they really do need it.
Yeah, Gobera is going to deny the Owl drone, but have to worry about middle map. And wow, Shenum's going to commit from the shadows to get the defensive rotation back over to B. Spike still down. Furia looking to collect. And honestly, with the noise that's been killed, the whole map is still an option right now. And 2G, you can see her getting a little bit skittish about what's happening through mid.
I like the reposition, though, at the very least. It allows a bit more of that support in case they go for a spawn push.
Well, here's the fast lane. Gobera, what do you have for us? Looking to see if someone's going to exit over towards his side. Able to the shoulder of one. FRZ able to connect. He's been slow, but is able to turn it into one. And Gobera connects onto a second. Genum is able to isolate. And how about Gobera? He's pop and take with this operator. And 2G have tied us up at 11.
Gobera, the patience on those shots was so key as well, not to give away that positioning over on stairs despite the flood into Switch, wrapping, trying to get over on the side of lane there from the side of Furia as well. Just a great hold by him and Shenum. And I love to see 2G standing up, having that energy, and Shaw is going to pop another timeout here for Furia.
Yeah, things are starting to get a little bit frustrating right now if you're Furia. It's just no room to work with. In the first 30 seconds has been kind of the new nomenclature. 5 of the last 6 have gone to 2G. And what looked to be a start where Furia was going to set tempo, set aggression, and get themselves onto site to plant, that really hasn't even been close to an option lately.
What I feel like Furia are missing right now, and I want to hear your thoughts on this too, Shift. They're not really getting inserts on the other side of the map. I feel like those rounds that they've gotten on the attacking side have come down to Shy being in some of those lurk positions, catching out those rotations. And the last couple of rounds that we've seen from Furia, they're not going for that re-exploration. If they don't have someone inserted, they're not going for those re-clears. And that's where 2G, again, are getting all of that info.
I feel like there's definitely something in that because, yes, it does feel like as the round starts to fade into the last 45 seconds or so, 2G are not feeling pressure to have to keep their defense split. They're starting to get good concentration of knowing where exactly they're most weak and being able to give enough of an effort to where Furia don't have the ability of playing two things at once. I won't say it's one-dimensional, but it's just they're not able to put the pressure onto both sides at the same time because you're not committing the Vice to lurking. You're trying to use things like the Vice wall to stop early flank potential, but you're hard-handed trying to heavy hit something. And once more, we're starting to get some aggression that's immediately shut down in the first 5 seconds. Granted, again, you're on a very poor purchase right now for Furia, but even that, it's like we cannot even get to the front doors of these spike sites before 2G are able to earn some opening control with numbers.
Let's see if Fury are going to be able to get anything done, though, into this round. Contact play up over a tree. You have a high-low being held, though. Really hard to break that. One curveball available here, as well as the paranoia. It'll need to connect.
And that's just one layer of what is about 15 layers of defense that 2G have on this A site. Oh, we're just going to pre-fire it, no problem. FRZ! Easy three-piece, Shy, left, nowhere really to go. And it's going to be 4 for FRZ. And I'll tell you, Ash, this is the point I want to kind of talk about. I've been sitting on this for a minute here, but now that we're dealing with a potential game point here, has it felt like there's been a neon on this offensive side of the map? Because it sure doesn't to me.
No, I think it's been hard. I feel like Koala has been a bit more supportive in that kind of regard with the relay bolts, but even then, it doesn't feel like we really get to see them come out because he's getting shut down so early on. And that is where he was struggling the last time that they played Ascent. I think in that map, it was tough for Koala to really get anything started in that regard.
Oh, this is just not an angle you want to give away if you're Furia, but at the same point, you cannot just raw peek this if you're not going to put any aggression in the first 15 seconds when the barriers drop in. Shy will be aware of that. Arc grows to hold that position. Curveball comes through. That'll be some opportunity to play through tree, but once more, it's just a little show of force.
Drone's going to spot out the trip. Look how far back 2G are playing, though, because it's not just Brinks in spawn. You still have support for FRZ. Hunter's Fury's going to get ripped there on Catwalk.
Yeah, Artisan will be tagged, but that's a very early pull of the Hunter's Fury. Fury is still, I'm sure, are feeling like, okay, we can still put pressure through mid, but we're going to have to make a commitment on what we want to hit. And after that initial flash play over towards tree, it looks like they're going to commit that way, but FRZ is in position. Shock darts to come through, trying to delay. There's the fast line. Paranoia right through the middle of it. And the defense is in a perfect spot to get a read on this. Relay bolt will come through. Jen will be the first contact. Not able to find the first blood, but is able to eventually tally onto another. Furia comes through with a couple of counters. Spike is still down backside of the site as Shy's putting pressure over towards Glass and wins a big one. QCK now currently stuck underneath Heaven. But able to find one, almost snaps to the second. Gobert, the last one left. 1 versus 2 for the map. Spike being planted on the backside of the site.
Both players so low.
And now it's time to see if Gobert can shine. Finds the first, but not able to connect. Able to find the second opportunity. Now to the 1v1 with Shy. Able to find the hit, and oh my goodness, Gobert! Have yourself a second half. 2G will take their map pick of Ascent, 13-11.
Looking good here for 2G. The adjustments on defense as well. When those rounds were starting to get away from them a little bit, were great to see them playing their own game like we know them to. Gotta give a lot of credit though to Furia, especially what we saw on that first side of defense. They look a lot more comfortable, I think, with this composition. They're playing together a little bit more there as well, and you've also got a basic that was absolutely popping off.
I think especially when you look at kind of what had happened when they're playing up against Shopify, Rebellion, Black. But hey, on one side of that, they failed miserably on the offensive side the first time they played. They came out and immediately repaired that. Yeah. So are there enough corrections to give them an early advantage here as we jump into map number 2? Let's go.
Immediate information seeking here into mid, and Gobert is actually going to go straight in.
This Boombot's going to get some value here. Gobert is actually going to find a little bit of chip damage onto the defenders who are trying to stack up at male. That's just a show of force, though. Nothing but a red herring. As this play through A ramps is the main muse for this A attack. And Fury are going to take a little bit of an aggressive step and see if they can get a little bit of information. They will stagger some of this offensive push, but the post plant's going to come back over towards ramps. And now all of a sudden, Furia have a lot of problems they need to deal with.
I love this call from 2G, the retaking of ramps, ensuring that flood can't come through.
Here we go, up close and personal. Koala's able to put some pressure onto the spike. You have to clear out Heaven immediately here if you are 2G, but Shy is making that a little bit harder said than done. Koala's already more than halfway onto the spike, and as Basic is able to cover, that's going to be enough for the defuse to come through, and Furia take the pistol.
Nice readjustment coming in from Furia, being able to re-pressure over at ramps, forcing 2G's hand to try and re-clear that space, making all the world of a difference there for Furia to find that opportunity, especially when that also meant that Brinks was going to be on an island on site after getting that plant secured.
Yeah, that's just an interesting call from 2G. I think you're absolutely right. Like, you just don't want your post plant to be in two separate pieces. So go help your Sky get back towards ramps and then try to retake by getting up top the tower. But really nice individual moment from Shy to hold ground, allow Furia to still execute onto the site for the retake. Another quick offensive look coming through for 2G. They have forced purchased into this with full SMGs in hand. Koala dude, Judge out, able to find one. Is that enough? Shy right there with it. Nice dash coming through, but Shy's able to respond and keep the numbers in favor of Furia after the trades are all said and done.
Keeping it super scrappy. Spike at least on site. FRZ God going to be able to get that plant down to get a little bit of change in their pockets here on the side of 2G at the very least. And this is about an impossible hold for him, right? Basic to clean that one up, and Fury up to 2.
Yeah, that's a nice start. That will put a lot of pressure onto the rest of this. We'll call it the first quarter into split. 2G going to have to be on a save as the bonus is going to look very potent right now for Furia. Helps set this defensive side up very nicely for them.
2G. This composition that we'd seen from them previously during the LCQ is a bit of a different story, right? Because they had Gab in instead. And then you also didn't have Shenum in play. Roles kind of, you know, traded around a little bit in that kind of regard. Now everyone's back on those comfort picks.
Boombot to clear out B-May is about to say with this stack. Furia looked like they were going to try to maybe take away that space right off the get-go. Instead, they're going to commit the Paranoia to take that space away. That is expensive, but it does get them what they want. Dark cover replaced over at mid as the defense is going to rotate largely through ropes to see if they can give some support to Calm, who's currently going to have to be dealing with everything himself.
Prowler's going to find one at least as well. Yeah, that information. And then Trailblazer go out. It falls off of sight because they're more than happy to play that retake.
Whoa.
A big risk for Calm trying to sneak into elbow.
Agreed. I was going to say, like, there was going to be immediate help on the way back in, but now all of a sudden, Furia are scrambling for space, but Shy finds perfect timing around the backside of the dark cover. A new lease on life here for Furia's defense. Basic and Koala going to work together over towards ramp side. See if they can split the focus for 2G's post plant. Hot hands in the corner. Brinks is in trouble. He is going to burn to death. Nowhere to go. Now it's down to clearing out elbow. Koala with a shotgun is going to try to force it forward. Shy is going to find 4 in the round. What a heroic play through screens.
What a way to do it. Just being able to thread that needle to get those 2 picks. And then on top of that, you have the layers with the relay bolt and the hot hands coming out from Furia to ensure they're clearing out Brinks on that plant positioning.
And so far, it almost feels very similar to what 2G were trying to do on Ascent in terms of spreading defensive focus by way of hitting aggressively in multiple points of ingress. But kind of the same regard, Furia are not hesitating to play with aggression of their own this time. Getting aggressive either through A, but in particular that last round into B main. Even though it costs you your Paranoia, you're still taking away space. It's forcing 2G to have to play a little bit more one-dimensionally. Viper's Pit already earned and spent in round 4 through the middle of the map, and an aggressive Prowler clears so much space through A. It allows Artisan to get a little bit of early help with all of that extra space already taken.
2G, Shenum holding such a passive insert over on the A side of the map, looking to dodge that utility. That Calm continues to cycle. Hunt just went out. Does still have a Prowler available, alone on an island, but with the cut of noise from the other side of the map, you have the rotation now coming in through from Basic and Koala to support.
Yeah, I think Artisan's sitting here saying, like, I could just keep replacing this dark cover, and I got the Paranoia to give myself space if you guys get some issues. Run it back spent by Basic. just trying to hold this angle aggressively. Now he's going to try to figure out what exactly is over this direction, and is able to see one in the corner. Seeing the raise may be enough to give you the indication that this is 2G approaching A, and now they'll know.
Just flooding into heaven right now. Shy trying to get a timing up behind the wall.
Ooh.
Ain't no way.
That is more important than it may seem. Because now Shy can lurk behind his play. Inserted deep, but all of a sudden the play on top of the site is starting to break down. Koala able to hang. Oh, and a really good paranoia comes through at the right time. Brinks now by himself. This will be a 1v3 trying to commit for the plant, but Koala able to get the final blow, and it's a 4-0 start for Furia.
Looking good. How many times, though, is Shy going to be able to get away with those kinds of timings? With the position, just really bobbing and weaving through that toxic screen. The perfect moment when that boom bot was coming through. It's one of the second times now that Shy's had that opportunity.
One of those fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on you again. Really solid stuff from Shy. Basic also off to an exquisite defensive start. 6-1 in the kill feed. And it's just another one of those cycle, afford what you can type of moments for 2G, who have had a very labored start to getting things going, and Tendrilled was Zenom, nowhere to go. Koala Noob for first blood. Basic able to get the orb. Everything is looking so good right now for Furia.
Oh, this timing on the peak for Calm.
Yikes! Follow-up kills are good for 2G, and QCK may have just turned the tides here. Numbers and now weapons to be grabbed. Koala Noob trying to save the moment. Relay Bolt Deep does not expect that QCK still playing on top of the rafters, and a Basic will be left into a 1v2 from here. Good to try to go quickly, though, with it. FRZ able to scout out where exactly the position is, following down, able to find the first. Does he have the patience for the second? Yes, and 2G missed out on a window there.
A round that should have been unlosable for 2G into the post plant with the numbers advantage that they had, but Basic being able to get that transfer for the Red Bull clutch. 2G able to get on site at the very least thanks to QCK's heroics. But it's just wild the kind of day that Basic is having. Being on this Phoenix has been such a difference maker today.
Unreal stuff from Basic. Unreal stuff. Continues to be a little bit of a light in the darkness for Furia. And 2G are going to come off of this replay into timeout mode, and rightfully so, because we're still in this cycle of save by, save by, save by, and that is, oh, FRZ, brother! Ugh.
Did we have to slow-mo it?
Yeah, I think we did.
Okay. I don't think we did.
That one's rough. A little windy out there on the A site. So 2G, we'll talk about it. And honestly, there's a lot to talk about. I don't even know where you start right now if you're 2G, because if you try to break down what Fury is throwing at you, they've shown that they're more than ready to play with aggression on both sites, whether that's at B main or aggressively down through A in particular, not even worrying about contesting ramps, they're just taking it. So there are issues right now that 2G have to worry about. Are we fighting on the extremities? Are we going to try to put pressure on the middle of the map to free up some of the defenders that are trying to play on the outsides? Hard to say.
Definitely is. And Koala right now, he's been having quite the performance, at least on defense. He's looked so solid thus far, continuously, I think, throwing out great relay bolts, great fast lanes to try and deny some of that space, slow things down and catch 2G off guard. There's no denying that there. You're talking about, okay, what the game plan is there for 2G, but you also shout out how Furia have constantly been proactively clearing that ramp space, not allowing the lurk to come through. But for the first time now, Shenum actually is going to get that opportunity to cross. The Prowler will catch him out. But that is a little bit of pressure now that he's now placed.
Yeah, and there's going to be an interesting response here to see what Furia decides to do, knowing that Shenum doesn't really give you an indication on where 2G want to go, but if he's already up top towards ramps, you need to make sure you keep this position at A tower somewhat locked. You can't just give it away for free. And they're going to bring Koalanu over just to try to re-clear some of that space. But meanwhile, here's the play through mid, and I love this call. Hot Hands trying to slow. Gobert doesn't care. Showstopper's out, but it misses. The space is still gained, though, at top at Heaven. Defense will be playing off-site for now. No immediate tools for re-clearing in terms of ultimates, and QCK wants to get aggressive and gets away with one. Call back at mid-map, able to shut down the play through mid. Now all of a sudden the offense is a bit stuck on site, but they will plant.
Okay. How much is QCK going to be able to do in this smoke? Great flash out.
QCK not able to find more than that, though. 3 versus 3. Furia have the fast lane to try to work their way back on towards site. Good dissection of where this post plant is currently set up, but you still need to find the intel on where exactly the positions are established at. Gobera. Immediately shut down by Basic. Koala will follow behind that, leaving it just down to Brinks. Able to find the first. Basic already committing to beyond halfway. Can't win the second gunfight, and Furia will stay flawless. 6-0 up.
These post plants are a problem here for 2G. Unable to hold it. Furia flooding so quickly. And I think the other issue that we're seeing from 2G is a lot of these executions that they're taking the opportunity with are usually on the first layer of utility. And that also means now that Furia don't have to expend as much to try and delay those plants while they're coming in, and can save it for these retake scenarios so they can just overwhelm them on site.
Absolutely. 5 post-plant retakes for Fury out of the 6 rounds that they've been able to take. And some of this is just by finding ways to get into low number situations and making 2G stress. I don't think we've seen a post-plant with more than 3 players alive yet for 2G.
No, but that pick was huge coming out from Shenum. Really the first time that we're seeing the impact that we want to from him on this side of the map.
I like this call. Problem is, Brinks is watching the flank through B main. Basic does give you 1 off the run it back through middle. So re-clearing of that space. Com's going to hear some footsteps over towards A. If you could reduce this post plant again by finding a pick before the spike gets set up, that would be huge.
You also have the Nightfall for the retake.
Problem is, the post plant is so varied right now with the positions that they can hold. But it does look like this stack up is going to call the Nightfall over towards Elbow. Firewall able to come back into play to give some separation. And Basic is on the chase. So they're able to find QCK. Backside of screens. Gobera's in some trouble here. As Com's able to tally another. And now Gobera essentially has to do something from this position, but not able to find a kill. Just down to Jenna. Able to spam out for 1, but completely flashed. And Furia are up 7-0.
It is insane the form that we're seeing Furia in right now. They looked good on Ascent, but I feel like now here on Split, we're seeing them even more synergized than we did in that map. On the first map of the day, they were warming up into it a little bit. Some of the spacing was off, maybe the utility usage not quite connecting the way that they wanted to. But right now on Split, everything is going their way. You can even see it, like the way that they're just peaking together, I think is such a huge difference to be able to make those calls for the multi-swings coming through to ensure that they have that support to guarantee those players on 2G go down.
Absolutely. And again, it's just like, you can also just point to the simple stats of like, this is another half of defensive Valorant that Shy and Basic are doing everything. Quick feel out through the middle of the map as we're back to limited purchase for 2G. Trying to make their play over towards Rams, but Koala's there to meet it with the judge. And that pretty much shuts down the execute in its tracks. Not much opportunity here, but 2G kind of forcing the square peg into the round hole, and Com will find one more before dropping. These are valuable trades, though, for 2G. 3 versus 3, and you also find a rifle and that judge in hand now.
Positioning here for FRZ could be key in catching out Shy. We also know how good Shy has been in retaking this side of the map, and of course, that Vent's position continues to be his alone.
All right, now it's time to clear out the pit. Oh, and that was one way of doing it, just spamming it away. Unbelievable. 2G have now faltered in 7 post plants in the 8 rounds that we've had.
Yeah. I think what's hard here as well for 2G is we are seeing them make the adjustments, trying to retake space into the post plant, have those inserts over towards Heaven, but Furia are just shooting back better.
Unbelievable stuff from Furia.
Already the second timeout now to be called here by Gapch on the side of 2G. With just 8 rounds into this first half, and man, Shift. Furia have been cooking. Like the last time we saw them on this map was, I think, week 1 up against Leviatán. They've only played it once so far this season before going for this comp change into this play-ins matchup.
Well, and you kind of heard it there, I think, with GB talking to Shaw. It's like, okay, you guys are finally jumping onto the double duelist train. Like, where is this inspiration coming from and why is it maybe taking so long? And there's just a ton of trust in what Basic is able to provide, I think. And also just, you know, maybe this is just a comp that is just easier to call for Calm. You just, okay, here, I'll play on your initiator. I'll give you the info that you need to commit. Basic has done a really nice job with his curveball play. Koala Noob has now really asserted some extra dominance again, especially from the defensive side. So it just feels like the pieces are coming together a little bit more concentrated. You could even say the same thing about what happened on Ascent, just because their defensive side was so good.
I think with how this roster was built around Koala, him being that solo duelist was just so much pressure on him in a meta that really requires that secondary person to help you break into those sites. Yes, there are some teams that are able to make it work with the double initiator, but when you have a player like Basic who is so mechanically gifted, I know they picked him up because he was insane on the Flash initiator, but on the Phoenix, my man is looking good.
He's technically
like,
still
it's crazy.
He's still technically playing a Flash initiator.
Yeah.
He's just initiating himself. Great stuff. More aggression being shown by Furia over towards B main. They will get that space once again, even though it does cost them another paranoia, but that's fine. Basic will be that much closer to another run it back.
Art trying to sneak into nail there. It's not going to matter. Trying to also help Shy out in that position, but 2G finally being able to overwhelm mid, something that they struggled with previously.
Yeah, I like this just kind of, again, if you're not winning the battle on the extremities, let's force the defense to have to throw commitment in towards the middle of the map. Koala Noob going to commit to getting onto site, speaking of commitments. 2, and he will be on an island. What do you have for us, Koala? How about 1? Here's the drop down from another. Basic is on the way in to help, and Koala has gotten great space back here. The only problem is the player lurking up top at tower. Crossfire setup being established. Basic with a fine 1. Information on the shoulder for FRZ. Brinks is so far out of this play right now, and now he's got to drop back down in, but has the paranoia. It will connect onto both players. Quick slide out, quick shot. Now down the 1v1 with Basic. Can Basic keep this flawless? Can Brinks get 2G on the board? Still playing off the spike. Basic will toggle. Brinks calls the bluff. Here's the footsteps. Advantage to Brinks now. All of a sudden has to swing through, and there's just not enough time. 2G finally on the board.
A much needed Red Bull clutch coming out here for Brinks. The IGL on the side of 2G. We've sung his praises, especially through the LCQ. He was so impressive, not just there, but of course within VCL Brazil as well, with how insane he is when it comes down to frying, and especially in those kind of clutch positions for himself as well. It's so good in that micro decision making. And now it's about this leader here for the 2G squad to be able to reinvigorate his team with this win, getting that round on the board.
You need these next 3 though. Getting out of this with an 8-4 would feel like an absolute miracle. Ton of ultimates available for Furia, but Brinks is going to hit the from the shadows and get flashed. What awareness is this from Brinks? Haunt comes through, and now he's just got nowhere to go. Quick isolation. Artisan now on the other side of the map, going to have to try to read 2G, and there is nobody checking this position. 2G will still find at least 1, but not enough to get the spike comfortably onto site. Last 2 players stuck at B tower.
See if they're going to be able to do anything with this, though. Trailblazer available for FRZ, and it's not going to happen. Just a spam into heaven here for Furia for 9.
And the money is broken again. So Furia looked like they're going to walk their way into a very comfortable second half situation. But this awareness that the From the Shadows was committed to in spawn is massive for Furia.
I mean, they really have no choice but to respect it, right? Can't allow him to keep that space for free. And try and fight back into it and ensure that they can take him out of the position. Now another mid look here. This is where 2G found success in the early round last time around.
This feels like just throw something at the wall and see what sticks right here for 2G. They forced their way into a first blood win. Furia are not completely broken by this, though, until finally there's a second elimination to hit the floor. Follow-up not going to be there for Calm, and 2G will be able to rotate over to A for free. Artisan, does he commit to the From the Shadows to hold this? Yeah, he does.
15 seconds on a smoke though here for Art. So not going to be able to have that cover quite yet. Unless actually 2G give them the opportunity to cycle it up.
Oh, this could be massive. Basic gets a lot of damage in. Brinks will respect. And look at the quick play from Art. Oh my goodness. If he runs behind this play, this is still very winnable. Basic holds the first. Now comes back over to the backside and finds himself a second. To the 2v2. Showstopper is available for Gobera. Zenom able to find the Outlaw to connect on Artisan. So now it's just down to Basic, who has been anything but what his name would suggest in this half. But this is a different monster for a 1v2.
I like the reposition here for Shenum as well, ensuring that 2G could play that crossfire if need be. Instead, Gobera is going to reposition. This means that they can't quite help each other out, but that's why you see the shift back over to backside.
Able to find the connection. Does take a lot of damage. And if you're Shenum, you know that he's on 1 bullet of health. Yep, you just toss the snake bite and you should secure this round. There's just no way that Shenum can do any wrong there. And a thrifty round comes through. 2G get their second. But you have to win this next round. There's just no other way about it.
You do have to, but I'm still kind of stun-locked by that shot that Basic was able to hit. Sure, he takes a lot of damage, but man, really nicely done. I think the entry, though, for 2G in mid is huge. The way that they're using QCK with the updraft on that jet to be able to dash in and bypass the poison orb, which is where they were getting caught out previously when it was Gobera being that tip of the spear. It's made all the difference to get those picks underhand.
Holy cow. Look at this aggression from Furia. They take away 66% of the map, and Shy just has to spam the crossfire, able to take down one. That is everything you could possibly want from Shy. Viper's Pit just to establish the control at screens. Do not allow this post plant to scale deeper than you want them to. And so now you've got Furia able to retake Heaven control, and you've got a pinch on the back, and you've got Nightfall from the front. Everything that 2G tried to hit you with aggression is all of a sudden coming to a bit of a fold. QCK trying to step up. Furia on the rafters. FRZ able to give you the first one. QCK still in position to deal with any rotate or cross, but Basic finds the elimination. 3v2. FRZ shut down to the backside of the site, and Furia clean everything up for a 10-2 half.
What a retake to come in here for Furia. It looked like it should have been a round that 2G could win. But the way that we saw Koala get that information in the pick on that wraparound was such a big difference maker, really changing things up there for the side of 2G into the post.
Yeah. What a half. Another one that Basic could throw into his virtual trophy case because it's an unbelievable display. 18-4 from Basic in 12 rounds of Valorant. That's about anything you could possibly want. Furia up big. We'll swap the sides when we come back.
So when I think of high-quality Sovas, think of my boy Calm right here. And I need some lessons. I want to learn. What do you think is the most valuable thing that up-and-coming Sovas can incorporate into their game? And more importantly, how much would it be for some lessons? I tried to get Demon 1 to give me some lessons. He kind of turned me down. So help a brother out.
For high-level Sovas, like, honestly, just watch some of the top Sovas at the level, honestly. For you, I don't know. I don't know, GB.
What is it? First you Demon 1. This is unbelievable. You know what? All our brother's trying to do is just climb up the dang ranks. You know, you hold the microphone, we're done here.
So welcome to my show. No, okay.
Some worthy advice right there. How do you get better? Watch more, period. So far, lot to learn if you're 2G, because Furia are dominating. An 18-4 half from basic. Yeesh.
Yeah, 8 retakes that they found successfully as well. It's
yeah,
just
true.
Insane there for Furia. 2G have got to be picture perfect from here on out if they want a chance at split. Otherwise, they're guaranteeing that sunset.
Absolutely the case. So we'll see. Pistol must come through right here for 2G. Furia stacking the box towards B. Yeah, this is a nice little plug and play here from Com, just trying to keep the defensive focus at Male and force QCK to have to do something special. Lots of damage onto Koala, able to find the first, maybe an opportunity to isolate out of more, but runs out of ammunition. That's where Basic shuts it down, but Com does lose their life at mid. 2G will have the ability to play from the high ground on the retake.
Spike planted.
Okay, 4v3 scenario. Look at how far Basic is in.
What a read this is from 2G. Do they expect a second? Maybe not. Shakes off the flash.
What?
A little fadeaway shot from Artisan comes through. Holy cow. So out of the 2v2. Shy looking for the contact first. Keeping Artisan covered on top of sight. Here comes the focus for 2G on their way back in. Able to find the first, and how about it? Wow, what a set of shots out of Artisan. I mean, initially you look at 2G re-clearing out dirt and you say, okay, you're crossing your T's, you're dotting your I's, but ooh, you forgot that J's also need to be dotted, and Artisan sneaks in undercover to find a couple.
That was insane impact coming out from Art. The fact that he's able to just hop and skip away after as well to ensure that he can keep his life on the line here into the post plant.
Let's go.
And now we're just looking towards sunset here for the side of 2G.
Feels that way.
They're feeling themselves. I love the vibes.
Gotta have it.
It's always good to see these teams having a good time on the stage. A little bit of that banter.
Well, 2G are in that very unfamiliar feeling, or at least that feeling you don't want to be familiar of, here we are, we're force buying. Pretty much from here on out. At least they're able to take some aggressive control, trying to get the lurker of Shy out of the picture. And Shy will make that a difficult prospect. Able to at least trade out their life, that is fine. The rest of the focus for Furia is right back over towards Male, and Koala Noob is just going to do Neon things with Neon. That will pretty much guarantee the round. Gobera and FRZ would have to work their way through a lot of layers, and it doesn't look like that's going to come through.
No, it won't. Gobera in a 1v4 scenario, I mean, he's able to get Artisan at the very least. Koala is low. He's got a lot of work to do.
This is the first problem. Not going to happen. Crossfire setup is easy. 12-2 the count. Furia on map point.
Comfortable here for Furia. I think that for 2G, we did expect them to have a bit more fight back. The first time we saw them up against SRB during the LCQ on this map did not look great, but they bounced back so well into that overtime, and they looked like they, you know, made a lot of those adjustments that were needed, really figured out where their holes were on both defense and offense, and how they wanted to play a little bit more dynamically, but right now, they're just absolutely getting snuffed out here by Furia.
Yeah, in that second time they played Shopify, they only won 4 rounds defensively and then stepped up big on the offensive side by taking 8. So the fact that they weren't even able to get anything going on the attack is just, you know, the candle kind of fades out to nothing very quickly. So now Furia, still with a weapon advantage in what would typically be classified as a bonus, are looking just to get this thing done cleanly. Koala will take a bit of chip damage. Haunt's going to be able to make their way through. Jenim in some trouble, and Koala's going to force it. That's a bit of an ego chow right there. Jenim will punish, and the follow-up there from FRZ will give the numbers to 2G's defense.
Oh, they hear this, though. Those steps that were made by FRZ were absolutely heard by Com and Basic and Sewers.
Yeah, so trying to maybe isolate. Artisan will make their way back over towards spawn. Oh, and sees the shoulder. FRZ will be in a very tricky spot, but is watching the right direction and wins the gunfight.
Spike down, attacker spawn.
Where?
I was
where
kind of,
where are you going with
I
this?
was kind of surprised that he went for the peak when the other 2 players could have come and bit of assistance, but FRZ gonna have to be aware of it. Curveball around the corner. Should be that, but with 20 seconds on the clock now, this is a done round.
Sure is. Okay, that's one. 9 more to go. We have to sell the dream.
10 seconds left.
Yeah, it's tough in that regard. I think for Furia, a little bit of risk, but they have a lot of rounds to work with at the very least, right? Like they're chilling.
Correct. You could come out and do whatever you want for 6 rounds before you have to start panicking. Okay.
We see that, and then there are those series where those rounds do start to fall away.
Ash, if this happens,
what?
I don't have any follow-up to that.
Okay, I thought you were going to go for, you know, I feel like usually the dudes on the broadcast, especially for VCT, they go.
Woohoo!
Good vibes, good vibes. But I feel like it's usually like the bald buff that everyone says. It's like, I'll shave my head. If
I'm not doing that.
Okay. I tried, guys. Just let it be known.
I'm not going that far. Although, it feels like a pretty safe bet. Furia will still be able to full purchase. That was just the bonus. No problems. Full rifles on the other side. Mostly speaking for 2G. Guardian and Judge will still be part of the recipe for 2G's defense. Not uncharacteristic, as space at mid will be early contested and then largely given away as there's going to be a 5-man focus to ramps.
This high-low setup, though. QCK has always been good on those tight angles.
Oh, okay. That's one way of doing it. That'll slow down the play and also take a big power piece out of position with basic gone. FRZ able to follow up with the second behind this play, and the full gun run for Furia, well, it's pretty much over.
35 seconds on the clock. Would take some grave mistakes there for 2G for them to lose out this round, but okay. They're finding a little bit of that confidence, finding that form now here on the side of 2G. I know the last round, they got a little bit more aggressive, fought forward into Furia, catching them off guard. This time, it's the spray that ends up bringing true there for QCK.
Nothing to lose your head over yet if you're Furia, in terms of like what you're seeing setup-wise, but it's calm, it's collected. It doesn't really swing things yet, but it's something right now for 2G. And I think the problem here for 2G, because of the score, is that is going to be essentially what they have to run for the next 8 rounds. Like it's so difficult to come into this early and say we don't have the ability to play off of traps. Like we really can't afford to lose a round in the first 15 seconds. We have to give ourselves a chance. And that's going to lead to opportunities like this where you can at least set up a crossfire to trade, but not having the ability to play with the normal aggression that we've seen from 2G because of the scoreboard could be a huge hindrance towards momentum that 2G are trying to build right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at Furia. Both players split up. Art looking to give up that B heaven, control. You regroup alongside Calm.
One enemy remaining. Spike down B.
Well, you hate to have to pull Seekers in this round, but again, you can't make mistakes right now if you're 2G. So nice collection of a round right there, even though it does get a little bit maybe menacing, forcing out the Seekers. But banks are good. There are still a number of ultimates that are very close to being earned as well, which is the big key in terms of how do you cycle this into the word comeback if you're 2G.
Well, I think right before the replays, we saw the operator come online here for QCK. Something to keep our eyes out on. And the thing is, with this op as well for QCK, I think what's going to be a little bit difficult is Furia, they have a lot of utility to push you off of those early angles between the curveballs, the relay bolts, Calm with the fade utility, paranoia, so many things that you have to deal with. But QCK, you know that he's also more than happy to take some of those risks there as well. There also are those opportunities to hold some of those deeper lines, but 2G also do need to look to condition that pressure.
I agree.
To start.
Yeah, I mean, there's this. It's still a mountain to climb right now, and we are barely over the first switchback if you're 2G. But at least you've got things that can start to develop round into round into round. Like there's a very realistic guide right now that you can follow off of this timeout that can get you to 12-8. You've got ultimates that are tremendously close. You've got an operator in play. You have to know that you need to respect that basic is on a run it back. That's probably what a lot of the timeouts being called for. Let's not get blooded off of something silly like a run it back push. Let's try to set ourselves up to get an early counter. And right now, that may be just off of throwing a dark cover and trying to get a one-way peek over towards B main if you're 2G.
Holding the deep line. Hasn't really been contested before, and just around the corner, so that curveball won't hit QCK.
There's the sound cue. QCK is going to cue up the dash, miss the first shot. Presence established for Fury at B main. Not a commitment in terms of where the spike will be moving, but seeing it on comm will likely mean that it's just, again, put a little bit of utility through mid, split the defensive focus, and then let's stack and hit.
So much pressure being put onto Vents. Furia trying to bait that heavy presence. 3 players now on 2G hovering around that mid control. It's just QCK here
Has
on
to hit.
B.
You have to hit. This is all Furia saying, let's force him to have to hit a shot. Run it back a little bit to the D-counter. Prowler is able to earn the angle back. 2G will have a couple of defenders nearby. QCK, what a shot! Oh my goodness, follow-up from Brinks is good. Pinstrike, though, goes the kill feed until QCK connects again. Oh, now with Gobert finding a connection, the showstopper is there if you absolutely need it, but Shy is stuck in a 1v3. What a moment from QCK. Shy at least has the spike to work with. But 15 on the clock and a full setup will mean that, yep, there's the flash and QCK connects for 3. What a moment for the Jet player.
Looking deadly as ever, but the other change that finds 2G success on that B hold isn't just QCK hitting those shots, it's also the fact that 2G actually looked to support him in that endeavor. The previous times we've seen him anchoring on that site, it's been tough, but this time around, fully able to get out, have that support, look for the re-peaks thanks to his team.
Hold on a second. Now it starts to get a little dicey. Quick hit for Fury on the way over towards B main. Lots of pressure to Brinks. Has to call the paranoia out. Can he keep his life? Oh, teleports back into the corner. Fury, don't expect this. The showstopper also connects. What a move from Brinks. That is so bold. And it's exactly what the doctor ordered. Shy now the last one left. Doing what they can. But a huge round for 2G.
Insane round there for 2G, and that is exactly how we got to know Brinks, especially on that Omen. It was plays like that kind of aggression that's absolutely unmeasured but also tactical at the same time, and the amount of times he's able to pull it off has been so impressive throughout watching his gameplay.
That is so bold to teleport back through the fast line to the other side of the hit. So bold. Okay. Here we go again. No aggression this time coming through. Fury are just going to try to put the pressure up towards mid. Looking like they're going to show some aggression there, but the Boombot will establish that there is no full hit here. Once again, Brinks finds himself in some trouble. Overdrive going to come through and not allow Brinks to do anything this time around. Gobert up top cannot find a trade. 4v5.
Retake incoming Trailblazer to clear out CT. Viper's Pit gonna be procced.
Oh, that's a huge pick for QCK and Artisan in the corner. Now you've got the flash to make your way through, and Zenom's able to find Koala Noob through ropes. Basic will give you one back. You still have to clear out the pit. The knives will reset for QCK this time up top. Just making sure we don't lose any sight of anyone. FRZ clears out the backside of boxes. Now it's about clearing the backside of the pit.
8 to a flash.
You gotta find a way to go. If they don't clear out B main, Com finds a huge first and then the second. QCK, last one left, not gonna keep this comeback alive. Furia take map number 2.
13-5 here for Furia, bouncing back after an ascent that they started off looking so strong on, but they're split with the adjustments to this composition, allowing Basic to completely unleash himself over the last 2 maps, playing that Phoenix, has been incredible to see. I think Koala also on that Neon was a difference maker here on Split. The adjustments, we saw the improvements going from Ascent into Split in that gameplay too. A lot of it has also come down to Basic having these unreal performances in both of these maps.
Absolutely the case. Only other note here, the most recent time that 2Game played this map, they played Contra and they won 10 defensive rounds with this composition. So some success metrics to at least compare and contrast with, as Fury will have the opening offense. Little show over towards mid and tiles for a moment, but it looks like this will be a pretty aggressive look towards B, unless we're just going to do some more resource collecting for Basic, which would be tippable. And not strange. Definitely not strange.
That Contra map that you're talking about as well there for 2G was one of the times that I think we really saw Gobera come alive in some of these series there for 2G's previous matches within LCQ and VCL. That was really what kind of unleashed him for this squad to get that confidence back and be in that duelist role so comfortably like we know him to.
Well, you saw the setup right here. 2G were trying to contest by mid by seeing if they could get contact off the spy cam, but instead it's breaks up close and personal, and now a little bit further and far between. Able to take down the opening 2. But into sight goes Shy.
30 seconds
Would have to be the catalyst for success. Basic is able to keep the focus a little bit split. But Shy is going to have to do a lot. Able to find a nice connection for the first. Quick swing for FRZ to get the trade. 3v2. Congestion here at the choke point. Haunt to give the entry, but Gobert is right there. Shed him on the other side, and 2G take the pistol.
Nicely done there for 2G. And Brinks, again, continuously showing how good he is in those anchor moments. Whether he's on the Cypher or the Omen, it is insane how he's able to consistently hold his ground, no matter what space it is that he's looking to contest.
Good stuff. And I mean, we didn't really see it come through in terms of the execution, but the setup at mid to have the curveball ready for a double swing through market and through the backside of mid is something that very well could be a success recipe for 2G in the future. But for now, take your weapon advantage and run. Furious just on basic pistols.
Trying the death ball approach here. You have one trip for the right side of the site.
Brinks, careful, brother. Steps into the Thunderdome and punished for it. Gobert not able to do too much with the Stinger at that range. Wow, great damage from Shy. Nearly able to take down the elimination. But the post plant is here. Scaling deep. FRZ is in some trouble, but the flash holds off just a touch. Paranoia also to make sure 2G can re-clear the backside of B. But this is a difficult problem to try to break down, even in a 4v5 where you've got weapon advantage.
Trip dealt with, though, outside of market, and there's...
Look at the flank.
Yeah, great wall, though, to cross front site.
But this is all isolated out into the front. Gobert leading the charge, able to find some damage, but will drop. Now the flank starts to come on through. The trades will allow Furia with the numbers. FRZ, 1 versus 3 situation, deals with the first. Low health pulls for Basic, but is still able to win the battle, and Furia come away with another thrifty here in the series.
Really nicely done there by Furia, but honestly, that round felt more of a bit of a mistake in the setup for Brinks in that regard.
Agreed.
Playing back site on B, usually you see the typical trip crossing for front site. He was not in a position to actually play off that right side trip. That was mainly for the market player, but the way that Furia actually looked to flood onto stairs and take that smoke was something that Brinks didn't calculate, I guess, within this setup, expecting them to maybe give that a little bit more respect because they would normally think a trip would be there.
I like that call. Mind game's already starting to come through 2 rounds. Furia will be in the position of advantage now. Quick play for 2G, pushing up towards A behind the one-way smoke, but the damage is already dealt at B main. And honestly, this triple stack for 2G essentially has to work out, but obviously you can see the next obstacle they have to deal with. And Furia will envelop the play, trap it up, and not allow 2G to do much of anything.
Yeah, I don't know if Gobert is going to be able to get anything in this situation. Maybe Koala gives him won, but still quite a disadvantage with the kind of fight that he'd be taking with the Classic. Regardless, though, going down to a third map here for this series shift, when you think about kind of the layers between these two teams, namely being Artzine and the other ex-members of MIBR that he's played with, it is kind of crazy to see them meeting back on the stage there. Artzine playing against FRZ and Shenum. Neither of those two players were on MIBR also at the same time, so it was really Artzine in those two pairings within those different rosters. That familiarity to be able to play each other again on stage within play-ins.
Also builds just a little bit of drama.
We love the story.
We do. Quick shot from Gobert onto Koala who was looking just to set the tone immediately on towards A. Defense going to step up quickly at main, but line drawn in the sand by the dark cover. Furia will get on site and try to play their post plan out 5v4.
The aggression's going to come in, though.
Yeesh.
The collateral there for Gobert is insane to see.
Okay. It's not, you know, okay, it's not over yet, I was going to say, but
it wasn't pretty, but they made it work. They made it work.
It is just a bonus at the end of the day for Furia due to the thrifty that comes through. So for 2G, you can get the operator back, no problem. Brinks will pick that back up. We'll be tied at 2, but now we're going to start to establish how this first half is going to be played with a full gun run on the way. It's a huge first shot.
Yeah, it really is. Just on the sliding neon of Koala on top of that, but the timing was crazy there for Gobert. Like, it could not have been better. The paranoia is getting ready there for Artzine, and the peak was just perfect.
This is a big one right now coming up. I've got a feeling if either of these two teams are going to start to establish that trap set play, we're going to get it right here in this round. And it looks like Furia may be the ones to establish that early aggression, trying to see if they can once more just keep Gobert a little bit more uncomfortable. But we saw what he's able to do with this operator on Ascent. I just would not be feeling confident of challenging anything knowing that Gobert has got this weapon in hand.
I have retrieved the spike.
Definitely changes the game plan for them. And for Gobert, more than happy to hold that A line. So much information on the side of 2G now. Drone not going to see anything. Could be great on timing.
A little bit of noise from Koala Noob just trying to say, hey, we see you throwing stuff at mid. We're still here. But eyes are up now at A. And Gobert is going to be tested. Flash being held. Curveball comes around the corner. Gobert doesn't dash away. Instead, it's a relay bolt just to make sure the space is still being held, and that's enough for Fury to respect it and bail.
Really like that support that was being shown there by 2G.
I mean, we have to throw something besides bodies at this if you're Fury. Gobert able to come back over to help on this play through mid. Basic able to get the spike, but nothing more. That's just way too simple for Shenum. Never dissuaded from the angle. And just sprinting forward if you're Koala Noob is just not enough to guarantee entry. Shy will get the spike, give himself maybe an opportunity for the 1v3. Toggles, seeing if he can bait out the defense, but time is going to run out in this play. And 2G will understand that we've done enough to stop this in its tracks and get ourselves our third.
Really nice discipline being shown there by 2G in the 1v3. Knowing that they could just buy that time if Shy didn't get that plant down. Now 2G finding that advantage. And that's after Furia were able to get that thrifty around off of them too.
All right, that's just way too simple though for Shenum. Especially if we're going to be committing extra resources eventually to get into market. Why not wait to do it all at once? But Koala Noob tries to set the pace and the tempo and just gets completely caught, and then the paranoia afterwards just allows Shenum to control the space for longer than you'd like if you're Furia.
Already seeing a little bit of frustration there from Shaw in the coaching booth. But we got to listen in here with Furia.
One break, nice job on A.
Yeah.
She popped cage already.
Smoke your market.
I'm ulti right side. Ready?
Cage, yeah, we can go through this. You ready?
Yeah, blind right.
I hit two. Two on the right. Two on the right.
I can't go. Chance cancel.
I got spam.
Spike down, B.
Nice, boys.
mid.
Nice. 4v3, 4v3, guys. Could be backside.
They're gonna peek us backside.
Let's fight backside.
Yeah, go backside now. Flank, flank, I think. Flank, guys.
Together, guys.
One more flank. Omen.
Flank.
Flip, fight CT.
Yeah, come market with me. Walk.
Wait, I'm gonna come CT for you guys. I don't see this guy. I don't see this guy.
Nice. Last two flank.
Both flank.
I'm a smoke.
I got 1 HP. I literally 1 HP.
He's out.
Spike
One
down.
D4.
B.
Yeah, one side.
He's out main.
Wait. This guy.
I have
side,
neon
right side,
on.
right
Yeah,
side.
he's right side.
Can you hold 1 second?
I'm holding right side swing.
Omen could ult CT.
enemy.
Nice.
Dinked.
3, 2, 1.
Nice!
Almost.
Bro.
Nice.
Oh my god, that's so...
Got away with one right there. I mean, you could hear the panic and fury about how they were going to set up the ultimate, and then all of a sudden, whoa, there's 2 guys on our flank, but well held with low health pools at the very end right there in the 2v2.
Also just re-regulating after the energy gets a little bit heightened in those moments to be able to calm things down, to be able to ensure that they can take that round away. But the communication sounding solid as far as the information that they are relaying, though I would love to see the comms be less cluttered in those moments for sure.
Agreed. It felt like DEFCON 3 right there. It's like 2G will be on purchase what you can mode right here in round number 7. Overdrive is at the ready for Gobera, so if you do find good contact here with QCK, you may see the finger guns come out quickly. There's the Prowler. Overdrive will come through behind the flash. Koala trying to counter, not going to happen. First blood good for 2G. FRZ finds another through mid-map, and Artisan committed to the from the shadows in the dark cover. Hello?
Really nicely done, though. Just the reactions with those curveballs from QCK making all the difference in those fights for 2G early on into B main, denying that space that Fury were wanting to contest early.
I'm still... Oof. I mean, this is a really good, in terms of, like, again, forced eco situation. How do we deal with something? How do we put together a win condition? You do it by way of getting good first contact, and they do that perfectly with that flash overdrive combo. But to see Artisan still commit to that from the shadows is odd, considering how the exchange happened at B main. It just felt like that was going to be the set play, and it's just like, well, I'm going to commit to it regardless. But odd to put it plainly, 2G take a really key round away right there. And now get us to a 4-3 count late into the first, where Brinks is going to have a contact play here at market, and he's going to respect that. I just need to hold this play. I'm the only player here at B.
More than happy to completely play off a site there for Brinks, especially with the heavy-handed mid control that 2G are looking for to ensure they can have those fast rotations. Shannon's going to need to be able to get out here.
He's got plenty of space in the paranoia in case things get tight.
Mid
Here
players.
comes our double duelist defense, though, for 2G. Koala's going to commit. Paranoia comes through. Perfect timing, but QCK misses a big window. Get us to a 3v3. Jen able to hold the position over towards elbow. And now it's just down to regrouping with Shy on this lurk.
The way he's walked out on site. Still a camera, though, for Brinks to go and check. May have spotted.
Brinks, once more, has to value his life in this moment. That's a really good deep trap, but Brinks is there to deny. Dark cover comes through. Spy cam able to get a little bit more information to confirm. And the post plant will be set up, largely leaning towards main. FRZ is able to get some space at market. Dark cover to block. And FRZ is going to be the first one to try to make a move here. Can they split the focus, though? 2G need to create some noise from the backside of the site to allow FRZ a little bit more freedom on this entry. But they're going to wait for the smoke to fade first. Recon's going to come through just as it does. Deleted immediately, but Zenim's still able to find one. Paranoia still being held onto, but it doesn't result into anything. So now it's just down to Artisan, as FRZ is the first contact, doesn't win the battle. And now it's just you got to keep your head in the swivel. There's too many to deal with, and 2G going to take their 5th round, go up by 2.
Yeah, Artsy 1v3, unable to stand tall against his former teammates there. Brinks on the defuse, and Furia. We are seeing moments, right? I think Shy does get impact out from his lurk, but the coordination when it comes down to these retakes and the timing, the communication on the side of 2G is such a boon for them in these moments.
Absolutely. I think just even on top of that, one of the big keys to success so far for 2G is that they've never really lost a site. They've always had, even if they're giving the plant up, someone's still nearby to make that post plant not feel so comfortable.
Yeah, it's really hard there for Furia in that kind of sense. As we get into this timeout that was called by Shaw once again on the side of Furia. I think the other thing too is we've gotten previews of both these teams' comms now across this series. And our preview into Furia, it was in those high stakes moments, they were hectic. But when we got to listen into 2G, it felt pretty clean, honestly. You can tell that there's a lot of trust in what all the other players are saying, but now that conversation, I think, about Shenum and FRZ.
Yeah.
FRZ won. He's having crazy impact on this map. Shenum as well, especially with those vertical angles that you were shouting out. And Shenum being that player that we were missing in the LCQ for 2G to get here today on the big stage of VCT. Someone that we've looked out for, and FRZ was that flex player. During that time, he could play anything.
Yep.
And it's so impressive now getting to see them back into their comfort roles here on the big stage.
And FRZ's really warmed up into the series. I mean, map number 1 at one point, he was like 4-12, but he's obviously having a great map here. 7 assists already through these first handful of rounds for Shenum is great news as an Omen player. It means your paranoias are valuable. So Furia will come off this timeout with a hero rifle in the hands of Art. And this is, I think, a big position that Furia need to continue to work on. They really have not put much pressure onto this A site, and it's allowing 2G a little bit more commitment of what they want to resource out in terms of how especially they want to play B market. They've looked really good at B market so far, and trying to stretch the defense is something that Furia, I think, really will need to do.
QCK has so much in his arsenal to be able to stall out this push over an elbow. Okay.
Gosh.
That was disgusting.
Yeah.
Little jiggle.
Is able to get at least one back, but being able to shut down Koala Noob in that play is everything, because now you're stalled. This is like playing through molasses right now if you're Furia, but a really good flash comes through. Shenum was not prepared. FRZ gets shut down, leaving Gobera by himself, and that might be all you need. Able to hit both shots with the Outlaw, and the reset will start to come through. Basic is chasing. And Gobera is going to get the reload off and hold the angle.
30 seconds left.
Now it's down to getting a read on where Brinks is. Able to find the initial shot, but can't connect the headshot, and 2G survive through the aggression of Furia again.
Really nicely done. Good recovery from 2G after Furia were looking to flood into that site and just absolutely shutting things down. So uncomfortable for the side of Furia. Even after QCK does go down, it was able to also buy enough time with that hot hands that divvy up Furia from flooding into elbow alongside Basics run it back. Okay, I was worried he was going to leave him hanging for a second.
This goes here.
It's an expensive round right there, though, for Furia. And at least Basic is able to get a couple of charges back, but now we've got an early run-it-back setup for 2G, looking to play aggressive behind that at Tiles. Did not expect that Artisan was playing this closely, and the Hunter's Fury makes things a little bit difficult for Shenum. And how about Artisan? Able to find 2 and the shutdown on the run-it-back.
I know exactly where. Take flight.
So now you got the neural theft to be called in by Shy. And Furia, just simply put, you cannot lose this round. You have everything you could possibly want to take this round to the finish line, including a Nightfall if you feel a little bit antsy about it.
You cannot count out these 3 players on the side of 2G, though. We've seen insane multi-kills and clutches from all 3 of them across today.
QCK is going to just try to make entry to A as difficult as humanly possible. Furia will respect it and back away. And I love this reposition from Brinks. Yes, of course, the middle of the map is wide open for the taking, but in terms of defending B, he's in a really, really solid setup to extend his life, possibly find one, and make this post plant maybe even non-existent, because there's nowhere to go besides staying on site.
Yeah, 2 trips to play off of as well.
Whoa.
30 seconds left.
Oh, if he finds one here, even better if you can get 2. Oh, goodness, Calm. Lucky to be alive, but is able to get the post plant. 3v2 situation, Calm down to 8 HP.
And look, yeah, how much damage he was able to do in that scenario with FRZ still having a shock dart in hand, recon available, and 1 flash for QCK.
Gonna try to reapproach this through market. They just don't anticipate that. Artisan's watching the cross. tried to sneak their way in a little bit further before using utility. They get punished. 4 in the round for Art and Furia, able to get to 4.
And Art, even though he hasn't been, at the top of the scoreboard throughout these last 2 maps before Sunset as well, it's the impact that he's always able to find with those picks in particular, the multi-kills that matter to open up these rounds.
Big round right there for Furia. Because it looked like things were about to go a little bit awry. And now we're into a full gun round. Gobert is going to be sniping on light armor. He'll be set up over towards mid. An early peek behind this cage for Brinks. Spy cam placed late for the attack. And both Cyphers are just having a little bit of spy warfare right now.
Those lurking mind games, if you will, but the first blood going to go over to Gobert, taking out Basic from the equation. Crossfire being held A main.
Yeah, this has been a problem point for Furia. Good relay bolt does affect. Hot Hands comes down a little bit late, but Furia will establish their presence and focus elsewhere. But look at Brinks' reposition after all of that spy versus spy action at B main. He's now set up at mid, and this is a great pivot point, especially with Gobert being able to watch B main with the op.
On top of that, the layers of the tripwires from the Cypher to be that contingency plan for Gobert if he does need to try and get off of sight.
Oh, and Gobert holds this scope, even though in the face of a Prowler connects onto Shy. And now look at the long wrap through B main. Gobert will fall, though. The only question mark would be, does Furia anticipate this? And no, they do not. What a heads-up re-wrap from Brinks. And 2G put themselves on 7-4 going to the last round of the half.
And we've talked about it before, that it's those kinds of positions that you always have to be heads up about when you're playing a team like 2G. They love to take that space after you give it up, look for those re-clears, and the timing was so perfect there for Brinks into that round.
Beautiful design, beautiful setup. The cause and effect, too, of Gobert able to find first blood on a basic through mid also allows that to happen. So it's like all of these little things are creating these opportunities, and 2G are getting the mature calls to put themselves into a position to continue to dominate around the map. And this position at A main is still such an issue right now for Furia. They have not really done much damage to control mid. They're really not making 2G sweat at all at A. It's been very calm for 2G, honestly speaking.
But how many rounds have we even seen Furia go B main to try and deal with that Cypher utility?
And now we're just raw peeking, seeing if we can find timing. It just does not feel like the design offensively for Furia is in play. And that just cannot be how that goes.
3 players left on the side of Furia. We're down to 1 Prowler for Calm. It's a contact play into market, but the op is still waiting.
Yeah, contact for Gobert is fine. I mean, he's not missing. He said, all right, happy to take these angles. Brinks able to find the information off the spy cam. Sets himself up. The Hot Hands Deep really doesn't influence this defense too much.
But 2G, they were running things here on defense. It was a bit of a struggle for Furia to find the answers, especially on that A main control, not quite being able to break through, and also not dealing with that utility out from Brinks early on the Cypher allowed him to anchor so comfortably on the other side of the map.
Brinks is playing some great Cypher play right now. Great island play out of him. Other note, as we're getting ready to swap the haps, Koala Noob goes 0-8 in first blood contact. That cannot happen as they set up for a second half comeback. 2G currently up big as we approach the second half of Sunset. And it just feels like another in the page of the Furia book of what is happening on their offense. We can consider that later. I'm sure the Red Bull mosque that's being built on the desk will have plenty to say about it. But on the second half here, this is where we can kind of at least turn back the book into what happened in Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. And that could be really the Spark Note version of basic was basic. That needs to be, I think, a spark here for Furia as we get into the pistol.
Absolutely. And that comfort that we've seen historically throughout today, at the very least, from Furia on that defense side first. Having at least these 4 rounds to work with could be enough for them to look to come back into this map. I mean, it's only a 4-round difference so far, but let's see how this pistol starts.
Now it's going to start with some aggression from Furia over towards Tiles, able to find the first blood. This time is Koala. Okay, maybe he heard me after the 0-8 start. 5v4 early for Furia. 2G going to have to try to navigate the waters here. And honestly, it may be on to see if FRZ can keep 2 members interested. He's able to see Shy. And a little bit of extra focus with that recon bolt. Gives some space to work with here for 2G to make their way onto A.
Yeah, contact play up. And the rotation comes through here from Furia. These mid players leaning back towards that A side. And I like this from 2G. They want to find the pick first.
There.
Oh, and they may have just seen the back shoulder of Calm with that ping that comes through. Koala, long-range shots into FRZ are good. But as they try to come back in towards mid, 2G are here. Paranoia's going to cut across the backside of the site. Here comes the crunch for Furia. Artisan's able to find 2 on the backside of the Paranoia. And it'll be just on to Brinks with the Frenzy in a 1v4.
30 seconds left.
Yeah, not really expecting it to happen there. He's done it before, but too much pressure there for Brinks in the 1v4. I think the idea was good coming out from 2G, but the timing there from Furia was great. I think the call as well to turn around together, ensuring that they're taking that fight with numbers, even better.
Absolutely. I saw someone on the break say, why is Koala screaming so loud? We don't know.
Hey, we gotta keep vibes up. We gotta keep vibes up for the team.
Gotta be doing something. But a big pistol there for Furia, looking to follow up, but there's going to be no forced purchase this time for 2G, so pretty much a heavy-handed approach and advantage for Furia in the anti-eco. 2G going to do some resource collecting here initially. Firewall will come through. Looks like they want to try to challenge, but Koala Noob, he's got a judge. Only finds 1 with it, though. Nice shot from Calm onto Gobera. Shuts down the play through Market, and now 2G are pretty much resting their laurels on this 3-man stack from B-Main.
Yeah, they just want to get that plant down for a little bit of money, if anything.
Okay. Reaction shot from Shy is good. Calm follows. And Genom is going to do what he can, but only so much will happen. Furia dropped 2, but we'll have still a lot to work with going into the bonus.
They definitely will, especially with that Spectre pick back up here again as well. Actually, no, we're not going to opt for the judge in this situation. Furia, though, now only within 2 from tying things up against 2G. Do you wonder what that aggression is going to continue to look like? Because he called it out in the first half. Koala Noob was going in, making that space for his team, but maybe the spacing wasn't quite right for the follow-up from his squad. If he wasn't able to get that first execution. Is this going to be something that we see tightened up now on defense? Yeah,
attempting to make the space, I think, is probably the more appropriate way of saying it to Koala Noob. But defensively, things are very different to assess. Furia have looked much better on all 3 maps so far. Obviously, it's early, but at least in the first 2, they looked much better defensively. One-way smoke at A will allow Artisan to essentially solo play the A site. Prowler to seek out what's happening at mid. Nothing home yet. And 2G will take their time on their approach. And I don't know. I would be happy to see them try to get some early utility battle and try to dump a little bit more over towards this A main hit, just to keep Furia a little bit off balance.
I think they're just hoping that Furia looks for a bit of information right now, but very disciplined here right now on the defense. RZ has the recon back up as well. Can re-clear into elbow to get that info.
I like this timing. They're trying to put the pressure on towards A, see if you can get the defense a little bit looser over towards Market, but there are still 3 defenders on towards this B side. Koala in particular, holding up close and personal, but are 2G going to commit behind this? They feel like you kind of have to with the time, and yes, they will. Here comes the first check. Koala able to give you the opener. Nice relay bolt, gives him the space, the separation, and the setup for the rest of his team. Briggs can only find one. Genem able to trade at least another back. Gives an opportunity for the offense to still streak their way in to collect the spike and plant. But Shy is still in the neighborhood. Nice paranoia, cuts across, but Shy cannot convert. Art's in right there with it, and that will be the final 2 going to the Omen player. Furia back to within 1.
A huge round for Furia to pick up, considering it's the bonus coming out from them. And this positioning for Koala Noob was the nail in the coffin for this round, to be able to have that crossfire alongside Basic and the relay bolt being thrown out just to delay that flood from coming in so that 2G could not help each other.
Delay, delay, delay. And now timeout. Ooh, very early for 2G. Very early for 2G. We've had 1 gun round, but I don't know. It's interesting to see both teams give so much respect to the setup at A main behind just a single one-way smoke. I feel like when we often get these double duelists, especially with the Neon in the mix, it feels like we're often getting kind of a battle for utility fight to see who can control A main, but both teams have really not preferred to take that battle, and instead we're getting these delayed peeks through Market, these little poke and prods up towards the top side at mid. Like, it's just felt very cautious almost in a way.
I think it's the understanding of the composition. It's nearly a mirror comp aside from the Sova and the Fades, so knowing that those trap plays can get so brawly, and it becomes a bit of a 50-50 to try and take that fight if you're going to meet it head-to-head. Instead, trying to explore the rest of the map. What I want to see, though, from 2G off the back of this timeout is a little bit more of that beam pressure. I feel like that was the issue for Furia on their attacking side as well. They weren't dealing with that Cypher utility on the left side of the map, and it allowed that passive information to be held by Brinks. This time now, Shy on the defense to be that Cypher player. We did see, you know, the deep cam go out, but those early trips weren't hit whatsoever.
Yeah. I guess it's just interesting, like, kind of following through and finishing the point on the A main battle. I hear you. It's like, it is kind of a roll of the dice 50-50, but 2G have shown us that they're prepared to have that battle and to spend those resources and take those chances on prior maps. It's not the case so far. Early pickup of the orb for Basic will get the run it back earned. Paranoia will still come through for Furia, feeling the pressure on A main. So here's a little bit of that play, especially considering that we are into a stinger buy here for 2G.
Yeah, Artzine's going to have to give up that elbow control, play a bit pulled back there over at A. Great insert from 2G, from Brinks in that elbow space. Going to be able to relay great information to the remainder of 2G, who are now shifting towards that B side.
I like the idea of Brinks trying to establish some pressure, though, on this lurk at A. Just comes down to, will that actually amount to too much? Because here's the hit on B main. Deep relay bolts and recon's going to be tossed out. Shy just getting away, throwing out shots. We'll find a couple of connections, but 2G will get the site. Koala's able to find QCK, trying to take an extra step forward. Big shutdown there by Shy at Market. And now the retake is well and truly underway. Run it back and overdrive spend in this round. Feels like a lot, but Furia do find it flawlessly, and we're tied at 8.
4 rounds in a row here for Furia since we swapped over to them being on that defense. Now, for 2G, we got the weapons out. This is where we're going to see that timeout come to fruition for that shift in the game plan here. From this LCQ winning roster to get all the way to VCT Americas. Debut match, and they have shown a lot of bite so far, but now on the attacking side, 2G just a little bit uncomfortable.
Well, how about this? One way's not there. We'll take the space. Thank you very much. Instead, it was about trying to set up aggression for Fury over towards B main. So now you have to try to deal with the setup here. Get a curveball play. Shy able to peek around through with Basic. Great tandem duo defense over towards elbow, and 2G are going to be very stuck. They do have good flank coverage behind this, so you can still keep eyes forward, and they do have weapons to still fight this evenly, but this is still a very tough next layer to work through.
so many players on Furia already at A. I would love to... Honestly, I was going to say I'd love to see them take a beat first.
Yeah, just no isolation towards the backside of the site. Basic still alive and well on the A point itself. It just feels like this round for 2G just got a little bit out of hand. Nowhere to go there for Gentlemen. Back-to-back flawless rounds coming through for Fury. Again, their defensive sides of these maps looking solid.
And the problem in that round, though, for 2G, when I was mentioning wanting to see them take that pause, just cut noise, put a little bit more of that pressure on the side of Furia, starve them of that information, I realized they weren't quite comfortable being able to do that because they didn't have presence on the other side of the map. It was just the trips to watch them, but they didn't know how closely someone was maybe encroaching from mid in case there was a flank coming through.
Nice! Good shit!
Would love to see in some upcoming rounds those inserts that we saw previously from Brinks, one side of the map or the other.
Stinger purchase again in this round for 2G. They haven't run it back to work with. And an Earl theft. Very well could be valuable, especially with how the defense has set themselves up. Paranoia going to be spent here early by Fury to contest mid-market. Koala springing through the smoke. Ooh, and a decent effort right there for Briggs. Coming back to play as Koala. Running back will be spent now. Fury trying to shut down any deep scaling, and that's a big shutdown on the QCK. They're going to find more behind this. 3 straight eliminations in tow. Jenem will get one back, but he's stuck on the wrong side of the site. Brinks has nowhere to go but forward, and that is into the teeth of the defense. Absolutely well received. Furia now on double digits.
Furia getting loud up on stage on top of that. With
Koala's getting loud.
Man, 2G, these 4-1 splits are not doing wonders for them. It's just not working out. I would love to see them kind of spread out a little bit further around the map and try to work those picks, but it's been a bit of a struggle for them to find those opportunities. And now, look how contested this lurk is going to be.
Now, 2G will have full purchase. Close to a Hunter's Fury. That could be critical towards getting maybe a little bit more freedom on these entries, because right now, it's been difficult. And FRZ will earn it with the orb there. And you have to imagine that whatever 2G decide to do will likely be behind the execute call of the Hunter's Fury first.
But look at this setup that you have going on that B side. It allows for this really comfortable market hold from Shy, where he's more than happy to give up the entire site. And then the rest of the team can just continue to focus their energy towards mid and that A side.
Well, 2G will be noted through this deep position at mid. Crossfire setup for the defense to hold any further play. Market will be isolated though, and ooh, Shy will drop. What a follow-up though from Koala Noob. Timing on that peak is everything. Also sees, I think, a second player sneaking back over towards tiles, but does not anticipate that Brinks was still going to be holding the longer angle. The rope depth now going to be spent. Comp trying to punish their mid will be taken down in his own right. So now 2v4, but Artisan able to find 3. What? Oh my goodness. Basic behind the play, finds Brinks before he can get around the corner, and Furia grip one back from what looked to be certain death.
What an insane multi-kill coming out from Artzine. We're definitely going to be seeing that on the replay because I got to get another taste of it. Up against his former teammates from MIBR, now forcing 2G into another timeout.
Unbelievable from Artisan. That is the only way you come back into that round, is someone finding a multi-frag. And the perfect Paranoia timing, and then to get a third before the double swing comes through is exquisite. Oh man, 2G are going to be kicking themselves. You dealt with everything perfectly.
I'm so sorry. Good shit.
Oh my god. Okay, different vibes here, different vibes. But I want to know who's louder between Shaw and Koala.
Koala.
Yeah?
He's coming through our caster mics up here, Ash.
Okay, but Shaw can't come through our caster mics up here.
That's valid, that's valid. Yikes, that is, oh man, remember that round. That may be what breaks the camel's back right there for 2G, legitimately.
It really may be. Artzine right now topping the leaderboard for Furia, up against, again, a 2G that has 2 of his previous teammates within Shenum and FRZ. It is insane, the run that Furia are going on this defensive side.
It really is. What a heartbreaker. Now we're back to light armors and stingers. And this is just the old-fashioned hold W. Hold W, hold mouse 1 if you see somebody. And to be honest, the first good look at an A take that we've seen from either team yet.
More than happy to play that retake, though. Comfortable A take since Furia didn't look to contest early.
The thing about this, though, is you're going to get a handful of stingers at screens. This is how this works if you're 2G. Here comes the relay bolt push. Shy in the corner. That's going to be a weapon collected. Koala's able to find one back over the middle, but FRZ's able to get the Hunter's Fury to connect plus a second. This may be a bit of an oversight here by Furia. 2G are going to get away with one convincingly. What a huge bounce back thrifty round for 2G off the timeout.
And the thing is, with a squad like 2G, we saw it during the LCQ. It's rounds like that that can absolutely bring them back into a map and swing the momentum into their favor. A huge round there for 2G. You call it perfectly with a stinger play into CT, playing those close quarters. And especially layered with the Hunter's Fury coming out from FRZ COD to create all of the chaos necessary to make that work.
Yeah, and more importantly, it's not just the chaos, it also keeps the contest alive
at
a main. It just allows those stingers to afford the ability to commit to that play through screens. What a bounce back for 2G. So now a really crucial gun round comes through right here. Basic able to get another Orbs one off from a run it back for the defenders. As Brinks puts some pressure on Market. But that's all that is a show of force. Is there any contact here between our Omens? I don't know if Artisan saw that little barrel flash.
I don't think so. It's a crazy 1v1 right now. The Omen cams. No one's gonna bite.
Well, I like this. Again, just 2G keeping pressure at mid. It's going to force some movement around the map just a touch. Prowler does not see much. So the focus for the defense is going to have to stay pretty aggressive here at top. And 2G will back off, and they're going to hit over towards A. Artisan, what do you have for us? Oh, and he hears all of it.
More than happy to back up. Turtling onto site. Rotation coming in from the rest of the team here from Furia.
The Paranoia already cuts through, but it only affects the back half of this play from 2G, so they're still keeping this play alive at main. There's the fast lane up. In towards the site they go. Calm able to find the first blood. And there's no immediate follow-up behind this. Scattered fights all over the backside of this site. And at the end of it, it allows Basic an opportunity to hit the run it back. And that will be all they need to get to match point. Furia up 12-9.
Nicely done there by Furia. Art being able to get that information and completely back up to play that crossfire on site alongside Calm was huge for being able to deny Gobera that entry. 2G feels like they're scratching their heads now on Sunset, this attacking side. We've seen different looks from them. Previously, they were going for a lot of those 4-1 splits. We saw the 5-man plays on those eco rounds there as well, and a bit more of that mid-exploration that has come through. But I think it's been so hard for this 2G roster to find any openings here.
Any openings.
It comes down to how Shy is anchoring on that B site. Again, giving up so much of that space and allowing the rest of Furia to look to group and take these fights together.
Yeah, and it's been a nomenclature point across really all three maps. Shy has been unbelievable on the island. Run it back is going to be used by QCK to get aggressive through mid. That's going to force the defense back. That's free entryway into B. Shy's able to shut down the run it back pretty quickly. The wall will stop any further play through mid. So now again, it's just about how does Shy rally the troops on the site that he was responsible for. Spike going to be planted 5v5 here.
Nightfall only going to be able to catch out QCK into Market. 5v5. Flood still not coming in off the back of that Nightfall.
You got to be careful on this counter flash though. 2G are heavy stacked on the entryway towards the backside of the site. Initial exchange leads to a pinstripe kill feed, but Fury, we're going to have the numbers as it's just down to FRZ for the 1v2.
Timing.
Slides, now known. Time becoming a bit of an issue. Fury are going to have to move quickly. There's the first jump peak. FRC gaining the space. Both players weak. Really good dark cover to come through. You have to work your way through the utility. Artisan's holding at the halfway, but Artisan, he had the knife out for a moment. Is there enough time to fully get the defuse? Have FRC done enough? Yes! It's about as close as it gets in a Red Bull clutch for 2G to stay alive.
FRZ being able to win that out up against Artzine. Absolutely insane. Getting that pick on Calm and just being able to stay so measured in that moment.
One enemy remaining.
It's absolutely huge. Up to 10 now, double digits for the side of 2G. 2 rounds away from taking us to overtime.
Oh, Sean can't believe it. He can't believe it.
Yeah. That kills me.
Weapons are still affordable here for Furia's defense. Overdrive, probably not going to be needed unless it starts to get messy. 2G going to stack the box at mid again. And I love that we're keeping the pressure through this venue of the map because Furia have had to commit resources to making sure it doesn't get out of hand.
Artzine has also been a very solid anchor for Furia on the other side of the map.
This is great space. Artzine stepping up, able to find first blood. Oh my goodness, that's crucial. Plus the follow-up flash sets up Basic for another. 5v3, make it a 5v2, make it a 5v1. Brinks now, last one left. Furia handle the aggression at A main beautifully.
1v5, the first time that Brinks has stepped up onto the big stage.
Camera taken out.
It would be a thing of legend. But it feels like it leans more towards impossible than improbable. Here's the high-low stack.
Left.
Noise made. And there it is. Furia will survive through 2G, but I use the word survive selectively. Basic shows up in a major way on a new agent. The double duelist will get through the finish line as Furia will extend into another round of the upper bracket, sending 2G down in packet.
Furia finding their first win thus far this stage, and they are looking good. I think we did, have some questions when it came down to Ascent, that attacking side, but the macro really developed when we were looking over at Split and this Sunset, something that was kind of missing for this Furia squad previously. We knew that their micro gameplay, when it came down to the mechanics for this squad, the firepower, it was there. They had close games, but the bigger picture is what was missing, and today, it feels like Furia are finally getting those answers.
They're getting something. I mean, look. This is the LCQ team. You still had to go the distance into a map 3. You don't love that if you're Furia. Offensively, they have a ton of things they need to work through. Tons of things they need to work through. But you've got something to start building the foundation of the house on. And it's Basic and it's Shy. Those two together, undeniable in terms of what they're doing defensively.